Hello, everybody, and welcome to the stream. We are here today to celebrate the 80th anniversary of VE Day, and I'm so happy to be that we're going to be supporting today the the SFAA. Oh my gosh, my words are failing me. The SSAFA charity, Armed Forces charity from the UK, who have been operating for over 140 years. They're an incredible charity. So if you are interested in donating, there is a link pinned or put exclamation point donates in the chat, and that will come up with a link for the donations. But to kick off, we're going to be talking about what's going to be happening on the stream, because that's what I'm sure everybody here is so interested in finding out. We are, first of all, going to be having a little bit of a chat just about VE Day and what the significance of it is, followed up by a little bit more about what the charity does as well. And then what I'm sure many of you are very excited by, I'm going to be joined by three of our incredible war correspondents, Raz Borra, Das Outberg, and the Fresh Baked Goods, as we're going to be casting some community games. I believe that we're going to be playing on a few maps on the Draft House server, including the Tobruk map as well as one of the favorite European maps as well. So really excited to cast. My first time casting alongside three incredible war correspondents. Alongside all of these, we're also going to be having some interviews that have been completed over the last month with 5 incredible community members from the Hell Let Loose community. These include a few interviews talking about family members, one from the US, one from Britain, and one from the Soviet Union. We also have a war memorabilia and collector coming in to talk about some of the items that he's collected with some stories behind them all. And we're also going to be having somebody who has done war reenactments as well, and talking about the importance of reenactments as well. So it's great we've got a great slate here. We're going to be going for about the next 3 hours. I really hope that some of you stick around, even if you're just popping in for 5 minutes. We really appreciate you being here, supporting the charity, and celebrating what is a really momentous occasion on VE Day. So to kick off with, some of you might be asking what VE Day is. I'm sure many of you know, but VE Day is the victory in Europe. It was the ceasefire that happened once Germany surrendered in 1945. This happened on the 8th of May, 1945, and 80 years on, we're here today commemorating and celebrating the end of that war. The 80th anniversary, it's a milestone of remembrance, and it offers a rare opportunity to reflect on the legacy of World War II and ensure that future generations understand the cost of peace. It will be one of the last major commemorations where surviving veterans of World War II may be actually able to participate. This anniversary can serve to reaffirm the international unity and value of peace that so many people share. I mean, I can see in chat that we have got an international audience, South Africa, Poland. We're getting so many people from all around the world already in stream, and I think that's what an event like this is able to bring together. We're also going to be able to as well educate generations, particularly those younger generations that maybe have obviously lived outside of times of war, and be able to remind them about what happened and why it's important to remember that. We're also going to be able to recognize the contributions of all nations and communities involved, including the role of organizations such as the SSAFA that supported the war effort on the home front. And that brings us nicely on to talking about the charity themselves. The SSAFA, the Armed Forces charity, it's the UK's oldest tri-service military charity, founded in February 1885. Originally established as the Soldiers and Sailors Family Association, its mission was to provide families of servicemen left behind during military deployments. Over the years, the charity has evolved to provide comprehensive support to serving personnel, veterans, and their families across the Royal Navy, British Army, and the Royal Air Force. During World War II, the charity played a crucial role in supporting the British Armed Forces community. Its volunteers and caseworkers provided vital welfare services on the home front, including financial assistance and emotional support, maternity and medical support, emergency housing, and communications services, facilitating contact between servicemen overseas and their families through the Overseas Inquiry Service, despite wartime disruptions. We are super excited and proud to be sponsoring this incredible charity. They've done so much work, not just in World War II, but they are continuing to support servicemen today. So if you are interested in donating, there is, as I mentioned, a link pinned at the top of the chat, or you can press exclamation point donate to go to the link. Any donation is welcome. We don't expect anybody to donate, but if you would like to, the option is there because they are an incredible charity. As we sort of move on to here, we alluded a little bit earlier to some interviews that the community have been part of, and that is going to bring us really nicely onto our first interview. I said that we had a World War II collector who spoke, and that is going to be our first interview today. A incredible man from Budapest in Hungary. His name is Avtomat, and he is going to be speaking a little bit about his collection and what he has managed to sort of find and purchase to build to remember World War II and what happened. I really hope that you enjoy this first interview. Be sure to stick around because afterwards we will be going into our first community games with the war correspondents. I hope you all enjoy this. Welcome, everybody. I'm here with our first interview from one of our amazing community members, Avtomat. Avtomat, welcome to the stream, and thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm a World War II collector. Of course, I play games. I don't know how it started, mainly because I played a lot of history and war theme games with my dad, and of course movies as well. I got into collecting a few years ago, 2 or 3 now. The first item I actually didn't buy, but found. It's a shell casing from World War II. It's a Soviet machine gun casing. I found it in the forest. I went home, looked it up what it was. It was just very interesting. So yeah, and since then I spent most of my pocket money on this.
Oh, it looks like you've got a great collection there. It'll be great to sort of maybe just sort of talk about some of the items that you've got. I mean, you mentioned there obviously the Soviet machine gun shell. Maybe have you got any other Soviet items in there?
Yes, I think one of the most interesting or most visually interesting is this piece of submachine gun, the PPSH-41, which is of course featured in Hell Let Loose as well, since it is one of the most known World War II guns ever. As you can see, this was blown up or maybe shot with something. Maybe it was hit by shrapnel, because this part will be like this long. Actually, it was the whole receiver top. Here it was the same part, but something hit it, and it curved up really brutally. And it's actually like a very thick steel as well, so that definitely had some tremendous power, whatever hit it. This piece was found near Budapest, where I live. There were pretty brutal fights here in 1945. It was probably lost then as well. This is another piece that can be known from Hell Let Loose. This is the magazine for the same gun. It was found close to me as well. Both are dug up condition, but I think it gives off a very cool vibe, I think, especially with this piece. I have a few medals. This one was awarded for taking part in the war against Germany. It's a very common one, but I think it's very cool. Every Soviet soldier who survived the war and fought and was still in service in 1945 was awarded. Another medal is for the Battle of Berlin, of course, with a date on the back, 2nd of May 1945. This is also a very common medal, but I think it is good. This could be known from Hell Let Loose as well for the players. This is a clip for the Mosin gun with some dummy rounds in it. As you can see, there are holes in it. These were used for training mostly. I will use this to demonstrate this rifle later, because it does have some moving parts, even though it's a deactivated rifle.
Outside of the Soviet stuff, have you got any other factions, maybe sort of American or British?
Yes, I have a few items from the US. Not much, because it's very rare here. Of course, in Eastern Europe, they didn't fight here, so only exported items are here. This is another very famous, iconic piece of US military. This is an M-block clip for the Garand rifle, which is the main service rifle in Hell Let Loose as well for most classes. Of course, if you empty the gun, it makes the ping, even without the gun, which I think is very cool. Another item I have from the US is a magazine from the M1 carbine with one casing in it, which is actually a 5.56 casing, but I cut it down because I couldn't get a 30 carbine casing for it, but it fits. I actually had to kind of repair this because it was very beaten up and the follower that pushes up the rounds couldn't move. So I had to repair it, but now it works. From the British, of course, I have the iconic Brody helmet. I got this from a friend in Britain. I traded a few items with him. This one is dated 1941. Yeah, I don't think that will be visible, but I try to show on this part that holds the ring for the chin strap. There's a stamp saying 1941. Has some original paint on it, and of course it can be seen in Hellet Blues as well for the British version. This is a bayonet for the British number 4 MK2 rifle, MK1. This was made by the US Savage factory, Savage company. They made a bunch of stuff for Britain when they didn't really have the capacity to make their own stuff, at least improve it. It's a pretty roughly made one, which is typical of Savage made items, but I think it is very cool, especially that alongside with US items, British items aren't really common here either. These are head insignias, like head badges. They show what army branch the soldier is in. So this first one is Royal Navy. These are all World War II era. As far as I know, my friend gave it to me. The middle one is Air Force, Royal Air Force. This one is Royal Service Corps. I'm not sure what I think this is mostly like logistics, and this one is Service Corps as well, but this is for the Royal Indian Army.
It's really interesting you've got there. So obviously you're over based on the Eastern Front. Have you got any potential German items as well?
Yeah, I'm going to kick it off with another very iconic item, another clip, but for the German main service rifle, the Kar 98. This is, of course, known by the players of Atlas as well. Actually, I can pull this out. This is just the projectile of the bullet. Pretty big, very nasty to get hit by.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's all original as well. The dates are still on the casings. Most are from 44, I think. I also have a lot of photos from Germany. They are just very common here, fortunately. One of my favorites, especially in this context, is this one because it's very rare to see machine gunners in photos. Of course, there were less of them in the army, and especially the MG34 that this guy is holding is more rare, as well as rarely depicted rather than the MG42. And I think this is very interesting because he looks very similar to the machine gunner model in the game. If you just put the side cap on in the game, you will just look like him. I actually use the side cap in game when I'm machine gunner just because of this photo. And this is actually a part from the MG34. It was very random that I found this on sale right after I got the photo. So I was like, yes, I need that. This will look great in display together. This is part of the bolt assembly. This is a good photo because it has text on the back, and it just really shows that the soldiers were people as well. They sent letters to their families. It just shows a different side. He was a Kriegsmarine soldier, so of course the German Navy. And on the back, it has like a Happy New Year wishing, probably for family. It has his name as well. I can't read the whole thing, but his surname was Carl. It's just very cool. to see that part of history, that these are people as well. They're not just soldiers, especially German soldiers are often just depicted as basically a part of a machine, and it's important to see that in every part of history, people fought, not just soldiers.
I mean, especially with it being obviously the 80th anniversary of VE Day, this is going to be it really shows what the human impact of this war has. That it
Yeah.
was people fighting people, and
Yeah.
seeing those pieces of history with people sending letters back to their parents and their families, it really shows what an impact that it really had.
This is another interesting photo. It's not really combat related or anything. These are soldiers on leave. They were probably injured in the war. They also have the wound badges, which was a kind of medal in Germany in both world wars. They got it if they were injured in battle. This is a book that had personal information and such for soldiers. Yeah, it's interesting because some of these can tell a whole story because they have a lot of information, like what kind of units they were in, from what date to what date, what kind of medals they got. It's very interesting. This guy was sent to a reserve unit in 1940 when he enlisted, and he stayed there for 3 years. And I don't know how and why, because he wasn't sent to any other unit. It's very interesting what happened. Maybe just bribed the officers so he wasn't sent to combat. I also got this, which is a dictionary given to Hungarian soldiers when they attacked the Soviet Union. It's, of course, Hungarian to Russian. It has a lot of phrases, of course, words as well. They aren't written in Russian or Cyrillic, but how you would pronounce it in Hungarian. So they could speak to civilians, like asking about where a bridge is on this river and similar. It's a very cool piece. I don't really collect Hungarian, but I had to take this. It's just really, really unique.
Well, I think that, I mean, it's an incredible collection that you've got there, but I think we do have to go to sort of the pièce de résistance, which obviously you've alluded to a little bit earlier on, and that is going to be the gun. I'll let you go into detail about this.
Yeah, I'm a big history and gun and World 2 nerd, so yeah. This is one of my newest addition to the collection, actually. This is a Finnish made or used Mosin Nagant rifle. Of course, the Finnish aren't in hell at loose, but this gun is, I think, still very recognizable for the players, since the Soviets use the same rifle in another configuration. Most of the parts for this rifle is still Imperial Russian made, actually, because the Finnish got hundreds and thousands of them after World War One. And this model was just refurbished, put together by the best condition parts. So it has it's a huge mix of factories. It has parts from Tula, Ijevsk, Sestruyevsk, Westinghouse, everything. It was really fun to research about this. It has like hundreds of stamps on it. It's very cool for me. But of course, it can be opened. It is deactivated because, of course, I'm in Europe. It's pretty hard to get live firearms here, especially in the World War II era ones. But it's still very cool in my opinion. It can be loaded up by the clip that I mentioned before, which can be a bit tricky sometimes with these kind of rifles, but mostly with the Soviet ones, they are more of Finnish Mosins are the best. They have the best reputation, I would say, among shooters and in the war as well. Um, the coolest part in this particular rifle, though, is that it has initials carved into the stock by the soldiers of who had this rifle. There is initials here, LAI or LAV. It's kind of hard to see. but it's very cool nonetheless. And on the other side, there's HS, or SH if you want. And the stock is just beautiful, which is of course very typical of Finnish rifles because the type of wood they used has a very cool texture and color. And when it's used for rifle stocks, it's very beautiful. It also has the stamp of the Finnish Civil Guard, which has like not it wasn't part of the army at first, but then it was sent to the army. So it's just really cool because based on this number, I could actually find where it was stationed by the Civil Guard, and that is a city that still exists in Finland. It's Kokkola. I just love how much history I can find just based on the stamps on this rifle. And the interesting part is that since I'm left-handed, you would say that it's pretty hard to use for me, but no, it's actually just as easy to cycle the bullet left-handed, which couldn't really be said for many other bolt action rifles because of, for example, the Car 98 has the bolt handle turned down, which would be way harder for me to reach. But here I can do that very easily.
I mean, the amount of history that also just is in that rifle alone, with all the stamps and the initials. I mean, again, just sort of showing that sort of human side of the war. The fact that people were sort of personalizing their weapon, they were marking it as their own. They were. There's so much history behind all of this, and I just want to say a huge thank you to yourself for coming on, showing off this collection that you've got, and talking a little bit more about the history that you found in building this collection.
I think it's very important to look back to history and just reflect and just see the mistakes that others did, not repeat history.
Absolutely, I think that's a great way to finish this off. Reflect on what has happened and move forward in a better direction. Again, I'd like to thank you so much for being here today. I hope that everybody watching has really enjoyed looking through your collection, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. That was our first interview. I hope that everybody in chat really enjoyed that. It was also wonderful to see. We've already had some donations as well. So thank you so much to everybody who has already donated. I really appreciate that. And I'm sure the charity will as well. But next up, we have got something very special, and that is the war correspondents. Rasbara, Fresh Baked Goods, and Das Outbo, welcome to the stream.
Hey, thanks so
Hello.
much.
It's lovely to have you all here. I mean, obviously, you guys were watching that last interview. Have you got any thoughts on what was a really fascinating thing from Aftermath?
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, go
pretty
first,
sweet.
Raz.
No, I mean, I'm just a simple man. I just like guns and I appreciate history. I am not nearly as knowledgeable as that gentleman, but no, I mean, super cool. Like, it's always nice to learn more about history and like see the actual things that were used. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also very just kind of ignorant in history, so I enjoy when people can not only show kind of collections off, but can really speak to them and teach me something. So I really enjoyed that. That guy did a great job of breaking that down and kind of explaining the history of all of it. So that was really enjoyable to watch.
There was not just a gun, but multiple things. Good little helmet. Good stuff.
It really was. Aftermath there, only just, I think he was 18 years old, and with incredible knowledge,
That's
incredible collection.
crazy.
Just absolute top bloke. He also has got a YouTube channel as well. So the YouTube video of all of these interviews will go live very soon. So basically, around about 20 minutes after the interview airs, it should go live on YouTube. His channel is linked in the description of that video. That will obviously be the first one to go live on the Hell Let Loose YouTube channel. So if you would like to go back and rewatch it, see what he has, or maybe go view some of his other videos as well, then feel free to go check that out. But yeah, thank you very much, Aftermath. But on with what we are very excited to do, and that right now is some community games. We are going to be playing on the Draft House server, and which map are we going to be playing on first?
Yeah, so we have Herkin Forest lined up first, and I believe Saint Mare Église next.
That will be it. St.
Yeah.
Mayor, then we're off to Tobruk, then back to Carrington.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So we're going to jump in. We're going to be doing some observing, a little bit of casting. I believe we're going to be jumping onto Raz's POV to start with. So as we move over here to our lovely secondary screen, Raz, let's pull that up. Here we go. So on with you, Raz. I will let you lead the charge with this commentary.
Yeah, so absolutely. So again, this is the Draft House server that Fresh and I host. I mean, we like it, but there's plenty of other great servers as well. So I mean, if you ever want to check it out, highly recommend it. Right now, we're at Herkin Forest. Herkin Forest here, the center point. Actually, it's a straight across objective right now. If you want to be featured with us, obviously just jump right in. But the Scar is going to be the center point. It looks like we have about 36 minutes left in this round. It has been going and grinding back and forth. Fresh, myself, and Alberg were watching. And at the moment, the Americans I believe the Americans here, are making a rapid dash towards the Jacob's Barn objective, completely surrounding it. It is an absolute bloodbath here. Jacob's Barn is such a tough objective. Typically, the garrison, which we can see right there, is right in the center. The entire spawn is right there, getting dropped immediately, and the Germans are just trying to hold on.
Yeah, they have a single garrison that they are all piling on right now, and it's
They
just
are
chaos around it.
getting destroyed right now. I always love
I
seeing these
really
infantry
hope
battles.
I really hope people join this. Like, please join the server. I want to see some flamethrower action. So if we can get some people
Yes.
jumping in here, going support, and getting flamethrowers all over the place, I would greatly appreciate it.
And you've never done an admin cam before, right, Ben?
I haven't. I've been doing a little bit of stuff for the trailers. I've done a little bit of the camming, a little bit. Is it any chance you could just turn down the sound a little bit, Raz? It's very loud
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
There we go. Is
That's
it good?
much better. Yeah, it's just
Cool.
it's just
Yeah,
a little bit loud and
No, of course, of course. we have to get you that PTSD early on, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's what hell this is all about.
No,
So
absolutely. And I mean, who
the
better
US
to be
is gonna
here?
take this, I think.
It
They
looks
just
like it.
bombed
About
the
quarter
last
cap.
garrison of the Germans, so it looks like they're just kind of wiping them off the point now, and they will cap this.
We have Altberg here too. I mean, Altberg, the professional caster. Fresh and I are
Yeah,
more so just
Raz and I are
just
Sunday League compared to
shout.
Alfred.
Yeah, Altberg, what do you think?
The issue is the
big bombing run.
Germans bombing run. There we go, beautiful. The problems is the Germans only built one garrison. The garrison was on Jacob's Barn, so therefore, it's gonna get blocked, it's gonna get overrun. They don't build another garrison, so in a moment we also see the attack on Hurtgen. So yeah, victory to Americans is highly at the moment.
34 minutes left on the clock here. About halfway cap for Jacob's Barn, as Altberg mentioned. No garrisons to be seen, and you can see them spawning all the way back at Herkin approach. So I agree. I mean, this looks like it's it for the Germans, but the Germans could come back potentially if the Americans don't secure this objective. Supplies coming down for the Germans on objective. Recon coming over as well. I never really like Herkin personally, but there are some really cool battles you can have at Jacob's Barn. I really like Jacob's Barn because it's truly like a last stronghold kind of objective, you know?
See,
Really well defended as well.
I don't get to, when I do competitive matches and things like that, I'm with Hurtgen. I rarely get to Jacob's
shit,
Barn
okay.
because it's just a fight over the middle all the time.
Very much so. Yeah. I just like the tank slugs from both what is it? Scar and what is it? The pass. I forget the objective center at the top.
North
But
Pass.
yeah, North Pass. It's always nice seeing the slugfest between armor all the way across the ravine there. Back and forth constantly. That's like my favorite part, seeing people blow up.
I'm going to swap over
Yeah,
to my POV very quickly, Raz.
Yeah.
Just so everyone can see that the first time of... Oh, I'm going to very quickly put my audio on. I just realized I've got no sound playing. That would probably help, but...
Turn my audio off there for you.
As we can see right here, the... looks like they are pushing up a little bit. We can see a few of the... Is it the Germans in the orange, right now?
You're on my team, yeah. So the orange red is the Germans, the blue are the Americans for you.
To be honest, I I joined the server about 30 minutes ago and had completely forgotten. So thank you very much for the reminder there, Raz.
Oh, absolutely. And if you hit H2, Ben, here, you can toggle that highlight on or off. It's totally up to you what you want to have the toggle. Yeah.
That
I
is
will
awesome.
be right back in 1 minute, guys, by the way.
Absolutely.
All right, so Fresh is very quickly dipping off. So we're gonna push forward a little bit. What I can see, as I can see, Leo right here he's on a bit of a mission.
He's coming back to go ahead and provide some reinforcements to his team. I mean, playing the medic here. It looks like the Germans have created quite a bit of a front line again, which is good. But as Altberg mentioned, like, are they going to go ahead and have garrisons built up? Are they going to be able to not only, like, you know, defend against this assault that's inevitable from Jacob's Barn, but are they going to be able to go ahead and hold that? That's the question.
Well, good news. The Germans build a garrison. Problem is they build it near the hard cap. There's one man here the whole time hiding behind their side, so they might lose that garrison in a moment as well.
Well,
Classic blueberry.
Well, what's really quite nice to see is we've actually got Altberg in a very small, lovely little camera in the bottom left. He's swapped over to the game footage. What we're gonna do, I think we're gonna have a little look and see what it is that he is shooting at right now.
I mean, the thing is, we have somebody here, MK Ultra from TBP, who has been here for quite some time. And the garrison's OPs, everything is close to him. The problem is, if he leaves, he will get annihilated. But as you can maybe see, he is literally just one red dot in a blue ocean, basically. It's a
The
lot.
Germans starting to roll out armor. Panther tank making his move down the main road to the objective, Jacob's Barn. Oh, big satchel off is 11 o'clock. Actually suicided a German satcheler. And meanwhile, AT running up behind this Panther. Panther is in a tough spot, you know, like he is right at the front line of his teammates, trying to get tucked in. Jace over, coming up behind to potentially rocket or satchel. He goes down.
As we are going to swap
Panther
back.
holding this front line.
Swap back over to your POV here, Raz.
Yep, I'll put the audio on for you if you want. Do you want the audio on, or I can leave the audio off?
That's okay. You can have the audio on. I'll turn mine off.
Yep, Panther here in the front line. It's not really surrounded by friendlies. Friendlies are a little further back at the moment. Americans, the Allies, being pushed back single-handedly by this Panther, but the Panther does need to be careful from his left-hand side, left flank. This is his south-southwest. Enemy anti-tank coming up across, but his infantry is covering him pretty well. They just need to stack up on top of him a little tighter. South side of the road here, covered by Allies. Jace's lever again. Why did I say Jace's lever? Oh my God, I get exploded here. Jake Long, another AT, running up to the front line of this Panther. Not a great way to attack Panthers from the front. Guy gets absolutely destroyed. I mean, what's your professional opinion, Altberg? How should you attack the tanks? Running straight at them, or probably the
Always.
opposite?
Just make them run out of bullets and shells. That's the way to beat them, clearly.
Oh, they're saying my audio isn't coming through the game audio, so you can leave your audio. Ben.
Yeah, I'll just leave my audio on, so we can at least get some of the ambiance.
Yeah, exactly.
Normally we just ping these, you would mark these tanks, and then somebody else in the tanks could aim at that, even if they can't really see it. Shell it, keep shelling it, and then the Panther would be gone instantly.
Yeah, this Panther is out in the open, right? I mean, he's pinned up against a tree. South side, southeast now, the Americans are pivoting. Again, you got Jace over, pushing up. Moog, another anti-tank, and Momentum all pushing the left side. One rocket in, doesn't pen the side. Two more AT running up. His infantry's down. Two satchels coming up on the side of the Panther. Panther's trying to escape. One satchel is up, one satchel is not up. Right on the tracks there.
Oh, Stuka.
Airstrike coming in. Oh, gets run over. Stuka goes off the side. You have a Stewart rolling up the back of the Panther, and there's also a satchel on the Panther. Panther backs up to his team. Team unknowing there's a damn satchel on the side of him.
He's mounting him.
They're-
Oh my
oh my
gosh.
gosh! Launches the Stewart up in the air a little bit. Panther goes down. Stewart is victorious due to the satchel. And Americans continue to push the south-southwest. You can see them slowly wrapping around, tightening that noose around the Germans here. Germans getting backed up into the corner that Alfred was saying, the solo garrison they have.
Well, Germans now have also a red zone garrison in G6 at the moment. They were trying to capture it back, but the problem is they don't have enough people. They have barely full squad, so it's not going to work out at the moment.
Ace of spades running the Stewart straight through the middle. Paul trying to get up behind the Stewart, potentially satchel. Stewart should have the speed on him, but it depends if he's going to get rocketed right through the center of the objective. Paul beelining to the Stewart. Stewart's running like second gear, one rocket in the side of it. Second rocket should be able to quickly take that out. Depends if he's able to hit it on the move. Stewart ducks out.
Just
Misses the AT guy. AT guy misses him as well. Stewart's still surviving, but he is stuck up in the trees, trying to reposition. Paul re-engaging. Stewart with the dream here.
Get in here.
Oh no! Paul trying to dodge it, gets blasted! It destroyed into a million pieces. Stewart's still running a ruckus here. Middle of the objective. You have another Stewart? No, a Greyhound. Now pushing with the allies. You can see that front line being formed.
I reckon you go look at that Greyhound. I'm gonna stick on with this little Stuart here, and we'll come back to you in
Greyhound
a
pushing
second.
up. Here he goes. Artberg is probably having a seizure right now, seeing all the blueberries compared to what he's used to.
I've also played lower. I've also casted lower division games. It's fine.
Okay,
It's
there you
fine.
go. He's used to it. He's used to it.
People think always like, oh, it's comms, so it's high lead, but there's also people with, you know, a lower overall thing. That's fine.
Well, as we're talking,
Bombing run.
I was gonna say that's Alberg. Obviously, we're talking here about the competitive. We are going to be having our next competitive episode of the Best of the Community. We'll be featuring competitive players. Are you excited for this? I certainly am.
It's gonna be beautiful with lots of lovely people from different teams. I would assume, yeah, different teams, ex-people, casters. I think it's gonna be entertaining because when people think comp, they think, oh, those annoying people on the other team that are annoying. But comp also has lots of fun stuff, lots of derps, lots of skill. It's entertaining.
It certainly is. And on here with Raz's POV, as we did have that lovely little cinematic one of the tank rolling into the distance. However, yeah, as we mentioned there, we are going to be having a competitive episode 2 for the Best of the Community. If you are interested in partaking, go onto the Discord. We have got a forum for both episode 2, which is competitive focus, but also for our episode 3, which is going to be, again, going back to the more casual player base. So if you feature in either of those, if you're a competitive player or if you're just somebody who loves a bit of Hell Let Loose and wants to show off some great clips, be sure to go to the Discord. There is a link in the chat right now for you to go join, as we are seeing a little bit of a bombing run come in there.
Yeah, big bombing run coming over Jacob's Barn. Unfortunately, not going to do too much for the Americans. They are struggling. Make sure this quality looks okay for you here, Ben. Hold on. We're sharing over the what's it called, the VOD Ninja at the moment. The Germans were starting to recapture Jacob's Barn a little bit, but it seems like they've really lost their momentum. They do have more Germans in there than the Americans, but I imagine the Americans still probably have a garrison on it or close to it.
We do have a tank around about where the little Stuart was a moment ago, where Paul was. So I know that you love a bit of tank gameplay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump onto my POV. But you can keep an eye on it as well, and you can just talk us through maybe some of your favorite tanks on these maps. What would be your go-to?
Oh, man. So I always play a lot more defensive personally. So because I play defensively, where I'm angling up, I'm always trying to be very cautious. I feel like, Das, you can probably talk to this too. Like, that's probably closer to what the competitive play is like. Not a lot of like pushing, because to your point, like they can get tagged from so far away. Like obviously comp being very accurate with their shots. So I prefer the 76 Jumbo, and the Tiger are my preferred. And the reason being is when you're running the Panther, although the Panther is great for like flanking, oftentimes at like a higher competitive level, I feel that the flanking is not as effective because it's putting you at more risk. So having more of like a concrete foothold, having the ability to back up and go forward faster by a faster first gear and reverse, in my opinion, are preferred. Where when you're running the Panther, and you'll see this Panther here, he just stopped. His first gear and reverse are far, far slower than you would have the Panther. And you can, oh, sorry, the Tiger. You see how slow it is for him to turn.
Well, I was going to say, Jace has just satcheled him, and oh, it's a big satchel on the side of this.
Is it a satchel, or did he put him on? No, yeah, it's absolutely satchel. And as quickly as he went up, he's going down. No idea the satchel's on. Greyhound at his 12 o'clock, extra burn. Does he have the reload on his side? No, he does not. Burt goes down.
And
there goes
down
the Panther.
the Panther goes. Brilliantly done there.
Yeah,
by
I
James
just really
there.
enjoy that. Tiger is my preferred, because the forwards and backwards and the pivoting in first gear is far superior to the Panther. But teach their own. I mean, it depends on your playstyle. I would have probably stayed a little more defensive and not gone forward, because I mean, you saw he went into enemy territory, died immediately. His team doesn't have a foothold on really anything at the moment.
I'm just on with Mouse Go. Oh, Malgo, as quickly as I was on watching the POV, down goes Mal. We're gonna head back over to you here, Raz, as see what you're looking at.
One thing you'll learn, Ben, is like you'll have the streamer's curse. So the second you go ahead and look at anybody, it is almost a death sentence.
Yes.
Altberg, I think, can probably agree with that.
I think I remember a clip of mine where I'm literally saying out names, and it's like 5 people after another dying the moment I say their name.
Constantly.
It's a legendary clip.
It's every time, no matter what. Every time you look at someone, they die so fast. As Man here and Pantera Bread, that's actually an amazing name, start pushing the objective here. This is the last objective, last stronghold for the Germans, which is Herken Approach. You can see on the map here a ton of Americans circling it very slowly. About 1 garrison left for the Germans, as actually, I think
As
they're
Euro
in big
garrison.
satchel.
Euro.
Yeah, that sounds about right. A slow bleed out here for the Germans as they try to hang on. Jacob's Barn being slightly contested, but just not enough.
I mean, it is a public picture. I see already. There's still people running around Scar at the moment.
Classic hella loose. Stewart starts rolling into the objective as well. Gets shot right in the back. Doesn't hit the engine though. Ace of Spades. And the Menemist, that's also a really funny name, go ahead and start retreating to try to repair their tank. Paul Linus misses the rocket shot right in the front line. Front line is really locking in for the Americans as the Germans just slowly lose more and more ground.
I'm on with a little bit of a bird's eye view right now as we look down. Obviously, the tank is being repaired, luckily for the team, but there are some missiles coming out. I did see that somebody did try to...
Oh!
And it was a hit!
Oh!
What a shot!
Missed the tank, but it hit him right in the... I think his feet exploded him.
I am back.
The
y'all.
Menemist
Sorry.
ass out here. Hey, Fresh! Fresh is back.
Fresh is
back
back.
in the chat.
Welcome back, Nefred.
Oh my
Still on
gosh.
Herkin, I see.
Yes. Slow bleed out. 17 minutes left for the Germans as the Americans just close in more and more. Just one road separates the American advance for the Germans. Rocket goes out, misses the Stewart by mere feet.
I noticed
as-
there's a
as
Stewart
Peter said.
ass to the German point.
Yeah, he was repairing, and then it actually hit the guy behind the Stewart and killed him. Truck rolls out, trying to put some spawns up.
Stewart
Stewart takes it out.
Stuart's going crazy. And there's
Stuart's
only one
killing
man.
everything.
I think there's only one man in this tank right now as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
He's
the
living the dream.
repairman died. Repairman down, probably running back to the Stewart here.
The Germans do have a garrison built in HQ in case they need it, but still nothing
That's
on
good.
that I-6 grid.
MG34 lighting up the American advance here. Again, just a tough crossing for that road there. Oh my God! Quickly gets dispatched by the Stewart right in the face.
I mean, this Stuart right now is doing some absolute bits. I think I have to stick on board with the Stuart because of just how much damage they're doing and somehow managing to survive.
He's
There's
just
not an
far
AT in
enough.
sight.
No. I mean, they've been shooting rockets fresh this whole time. They just have been missing either a little too far, a little off, or just way too short. Shadow pushing up again for the Americans. He is pushed up about 3 times and has died on this road every time. Americans start throwing smoke as they continue to push up. Paul Linus, last line of defense, goes with the rocket, trying to get zeroed in.
Oh!
Misses. It goes under the tracks of the Stewart.
Wow.
That is insane.
Little
Stewart,
short.
does he
You can
respond?
see the mark underneath it. It's about
Literally
a meter
underneath.
Too short.
Second rocket going.
Another rocket. There it goes.
There it is. Stewart somehow survived. I mean, that was at least the 6th rocket we saw missed.
Oh, that was absolutely insane. As we jump back on with your POV here, Raz.
Yeah, I mean, again, the Americans continuing to push up. They're using this trench line. They had smoke. Now they're just pushing right across the road, which is that last line of the defense. Some Americans inside the objective already. Suspected garrison probably right behind the objective here.
There's not. They're
Oh,
they're
geez.
capping it. They're capping it. There is a reinforce down for the Germans here, so they're trying to get in the circle.
Quarter
But I don't know if
cap
it'll be
then
enough.
for the Americans, finally crossing the last road as they secure the objective. Halfway cap for the Americans, trying to close it out with 14 minutes left. MG with old Ploppy, I won't finish his name, holding the road here. But another very interesting name.
You have 2 very interesting names fighting each other on the point right now.
Yes, machine gunner versus machine gunner.
Which
American
anatomy
versus
will
German.
win?
Lore accurate name. No, just kidding. 3/4 cap. Can the Germans hold the Americans off as the round comes to a close? Puma rolls up as well, trying to hold the last of the Americans. Bombing run slowly coming in as well.
This is going to be U.S. bombs. It looks like it's going to be a finishing blow here.
As old
There it
Poppy
is.
is actually doing, I was about to say doing very well, but that strike came down and absolutely
Hit
blew
him
them.
directly.
Oh my gosh. The devastation
Blew
that
them.
has come from
What?
this.
Very fitting for his name there. Germans do look like they're starting to actually come back. I don't know if it'll be enough. Not a lot of Americans holding this
No.
last objective.
It's going
More
to
than
take a
3/4
few
cap.
more of them getting in the circle here. The
It could be
reinforce
close.
is almost up. The reinforce is about to go up here.
And this seems like it. And the
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Americans,
US win.
lore accurate for
flamethrower.
VE Day, come in and sweep 5-0. I mean, that was a good round. Again, they were winning for quite a while. But, I mean, it was back and forth for a good long time.
100%. Well, who was in that brilliant tank? Because whoever that was deserves the commendation for sure.
That was George Squad, Ace of Spades, and the Menemist in that Stuart tank for quite a while that were holding that objective.
Oh, they absolutely killed it. But yeah, congratulations. I think that was a great first game to watch. And very end, we did see a little bit of the flamethrower. I can see quite a lot of people in chat chatting away. What achievement did I just get? I'm not sure what achievement I just got, to be honest. This is I'm on the Team 17 account right now. I'm not sure.
He's level 10.
level
He's working
10.
Did you win your
Level
first match
10.
on Hurricane?
I'm on the work account here rather than the personal one, so it's going to probably have quite a lot of achievements that I'm going to be getting just for observing, which is great to see. As we are
First
going to
one's level 5, so he's working that one up.
As we're going to go back to the main screen here, the four of us on here, I think what we'll do is jump into our next interview, which I believe is going to be coming from. Let's see if I can just remember who the next interviewer is. It's going to be Amelia. Amelia, who many of you might know as Sushi Cat, a great member of the community. Amelia's going to be talking a little bit about her great-grandfather even, who fought in the North Africa campaign, which is pretty apt considering we just had Tobruk launch, which is great to see. I can also see a lot of people joining in the chat, asking a lot of questions.
I don't know why I went to Omaha Beach, by the way.
It's fine. More accurate.
No clue why I went to Omaha Beach.
I can see people excited for sushi. Just a quick one for anyone in chat. If you do have questions regarding the development, myself and the war correspondents unfortunately are not going to be able to answer any of those. This isn't a dev stream. We aren't able to get any information for you regarding updates and such. Do stay tuned, however, because we are going to be looking to get some dev blogs getting released hopefully pretty soon, as well as some more Q&As in the future as well. But for now, we are obviously just having a bit of a fun stream with some community games, but also the main reason that we're here is because of VE Day. It's the 80th anniversary. And without further ado, we are going to jump into Amelia's interview. Amelia, take it away. So we're here with Amelia with another story about World War II, and I believe you're going to be telling us a little bit about your great-granddad. Amelia, I'm going to pass it over to you so you can tell us a little bit more about your story.
Yes. So my name's Amelia, and I'm just here to talk about my great-granddad and about his time in the Second World War, and sort of just bring him back to life a little bit so we can experience what he experienced. My granddad, unfortunately, I never got to meet him because he passed away before I was born, but I have this amazing collection of photos and diary entries that he had managed to keep during the Second World War and during his time that he served. So being here and being able to speak about that, I feel is so important to me, because these people should never ever be forgotten, and it was such a dramatic event that we need to ensure that it never happens again. My granddad was he was called Leonard, and he fought in the Second World War. He actually fought just for the whole duration of the war, so he fought between 1939 and 1945. He enlisted in the RAF, and he actually enlisted quite late in the RAF. So he was actually about, I want to say, like 39 when he was enlisted. So he was actually quite older than the other men that enlisted. And he was a navigator for the RAF. In the Second World War, he started in the UK, and then he moved over to Africa and to Italy. He actually flew in quite a lot of planes when he was in the Second World War. He started with a Boer fighter, and then he moved to Mosquitoes and Wellington planes, which I just think is amazing. He had a lot of knowledge because he was a navigator. Obviously, he was like sort of like the brains for the plane, and he had to make sure that everything went smoothly when they went on their flights. So in his diary entries, you can see like a lot of quick maths that he's had to do, and you can see that he's drawn runways from memory. So yeah, I feel like he was a very important detail and very important in his squadron and in the plane when they were fighting. He was actually part of Squadron 255. So that squadron was actually, they were associated with nighttime attacks. So when the Germans would come and attack during the nighttime, it was their job to defend and take them out. And interestingly, his squadron shot down 6 enemy bombers within half an hour of a nighttime attack. And this was the most confirmed shoot down by a British squadron in the entirety of the Second World War. So, like,
That is incredible.
When I found that out, I know, like, when I found that out, like, it was legit, like, goosebumps. Like, that is amazing. That was the squadron that my granddad was in. And in his diary entries, he talks a lot about shooting down like Germans, and he times it, and he talks about the fights and the artillery shells, and he just really likes to keep this detailed. And when I go through the diary pages, it's so amazing knowing that his fingers touch these pages, and now I'm touching these pages. So I have a connection with it, and I'm just so thankful that I have these memories, because I mean, we're in 2025 now, and it's been years since it happened. So it's just so amazing, and I treasure it so much to have this.
Looking at, I mean, even just like looking at those entries from the diary. I mean, for instance, you mentioned there about the drawings that he'd done of the runways, and it's just so beautiful to see how much detail he went into with
Oh
these,
yeah.
and you can obviously tell that he really prided himself on what he was writing. The writing in the diaries itself is just so beautifully written,
Yeah,
and
very old-fashioned writing.
very much so, very much so. It's just it's I'm looking at them here on the other screen, and it's yeah, it's absolutely amazing to have. And I mean, alongside obviously those diary entries, you've got some really beautiful photographs as well.
Yes, yeah. Some of these men in the photographs, I'm going to be honest with you, I've no information on them. But they were very close, obviously, to my granddad because he spent a lot of time with them, especially living out in the desert. They had to sleep in a tent together, so they formed these really lovely bonds that they had together. And a lot of these men, they did actually come from around the world. So he had people from America, he had people from Canada, he had people that lived round the corner from him, and he had no idea. So it's just amazing how he had these friendships and these connections. And obviously, despite the circumstances, it was a little bit sad because obviously these men should not have been fighting a war. But they had each other, and I think that's what really held together the squadron. It was just like knowing that they had each other, a bit like a brothership. um so yeah, my granddad was really close with these men, and at the start of his diary entry, he has all their names and their addresses and where they're from, and they've all got their own handwriting where they've written it in his diary. And I just think that's so beautiful. It's just a part of being human that we kind of forget that we have a little bit. And I've always considered like, oh, maybe we should reach out, and maybe these people have pictures of my granddad like I've got pictures of their granddad just sat in my home. But it's just one of those things that sometimes it's just going to be in a mystery. I'm never going to know about this person in the photograph, but they were very close with one another, and I just think that was really beautiful to have.
I think that was the first photo that you sent over, was that diary entry with all of their addresses and their names, and it's so beautiful seeing you've got Canada, America, I think it's New Zealand, I think, or some of them. It's just incredible to see the sort of where they've all come from around the world, and it's a really beautiful memory to have, and again shows, as you mentioned, that sort of that human side of the war. There's a few photos here, for instance, there's one that you've got of outside of on the wing of a plane looking out. Maybe you could tell us a little bit more about that.
So obviously flying in the air, my granddad didn't have a lot of fun. It was a bit boring sometimes, and it was a long journey. And I do believe that he carried a camera with him everywhere. I've got an old tin, a biscuit tin, absolutely full of photos because he just took pictures of everything. I've got pictures of him in the air. I've got pictures of him in Italy. Funnily enough, I don't have any pictures of him in Africa because I think that was really where the fight was. There are a couple of pictures here and there, but yeah, mostly in his uniform or with his squadron. And he just loved to take pictures. I think he just loved being in the sky and being above and just seeing, like the beauty of it. And he loved to take pictures of the destroyed planes as well. I think he took a bit of like pride in it as well because, his squadron, from what we know about the nighttime attack, was actually like a really awesome squadron. So yeah, I think he took a lot of pride in that, and he had a wife to go home to, and he took these pictures, and now here we are many years later still talking about these pictures. So I just think it's really beautiful that we have that as well.
100%. I mean, yeah, they're absolutely beautiful, these, and I really thank you so much for sharing this story.
Yeah.
I mean, looking through some of them as well, there's also a great photo that you've got here of, I believe, is that your great grandmother?
Yes.
Yeah.
And her friend. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it is
Yeah.
the 80th anniversary today of VE Day, and I mean, what a great image to show of that 80
Yeah.
years ago of them celebrating.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful photo. And in fact, I have a picture of a diary entry where he talks about how it's VE Day. And obviously, I'm not too sure if he is away at the time, but he says VE Day in Europe, like in England. And then just under that, you can see that he was actually promoted to corporal. So it was just really interesting to see how he's like had this written all down, and how maybe he thought about his wife back home, and maybe he misses her. So it's just really like soft, smushy stuff, but it's so important to our history and so important to have as well.
100%. I think, I mean, if anything, probably you say that soft smushy smuff, but that's probably is what has got him through the past
Oh,
6 years of
absolutely.
fighting. If he's been there since the beginning, that the fact that he's going to be able to go back home to his wife has probably been the thing that's got him through that. And
Yeah.
it's an absolutely beautiful memory to have. And I really do
Yeah,
thank
no,
you for sharing it with
absolutely.
us.
Absolutely. And yeah, he just he didn't, from what my dad said, he never really spoke about the war much. And I think in his diary entry he doesn't like to go into detail, but you can sort of pick out, you know, some parts that just were not pleasant for him. He talks about losing people in the war. He talks about the artillery fire that went on all night and he couldn't sleep. So yeah, it's amazing to know that he survived and he came home, and just unfortunately he had those memories to live with. But yeah, that's just war, I'm afraid.
That is indeed. Well, thank you for sharing. I don't know if there's anything as we come to the end of this this interview. If there's anything you'd like to share or to sort of say to the viewers here on obviously the 80th anniversary of VE Day.
I think just to never forget and to always remember what war does to people and what it has and the consequences of it. I mean, we have Hell Let Loose to see how gruesome and how terrible war can be, but I think a bit like Hell Let Loose, it can bring people together and it can have that community, and that's always something that you need to remember, that despite the gruesomeness of the war, there's that humanity side of people coming together and becoming friends. And I think that's the most beautiful part of a war. A beautiful nightmare, I would describe it as.
That was such a beautiful interview from Amelia, from Sushi Cat. Again, like with Avtomat, this will be going live on YouTube as well, so feel free to go back and watch it. Reach out to Amelia. I believe that we're going to be tagging her, one of her social medias. I believe she's quite big on TikTok or Twitch. So be sure to go check her out, because it was a really beautiful interview and it was just great to hear such a wonderful story from her. As we're now going to go into another video that isn't actually an interview from us. It's an interview from the charity SSAFA. A difficult one for me to say as a dyslexic, I've realized now, but it's going to be a really brilliant interview from somebody called Harold, who actually took part in World War II. I really hope you enjoyed this. It's a great interview, and really being able to show history through the eyes of an actual veteran.
I was in the 15th Scottish Division and I was posted to the 9th. We went out in the Channel at 6 o'clock at night, and it was a rough night and very dark. We got slopped about in these landing craft until dawn, and then we went in. We got quite a bit of firepower from a battleship called HMS Warspite, and it was shelling the land, so it cleared the way for us when we got in. We landed, and on the way out we had an explosion, and there was our ship going down. The first recollection was, thank God we're out of this stinking landing craft. From then on we pushed forward and pushed the Germans out. The thing that worried us most was not direct fire from machine guns, it was these damn mortars. We called them Nebelwerfers, and they came in dropping on you like that, you know, with a bit of a screaming noise, and we did not like them. In fact, it was one of them that got me eventually. I got a blighty one. It just got a lump of metal in my back. That was the end of my war. I was very lucky. I feel very grateful, but I feel, why me? Because I had a kid brother who was far more talented than me. He was in the RAF, and unfortunately he was lost over France. So, where the cards are dealt, yeah. On VE Day, I had driven through to Edinburgh and taken a party to a museum there, the troops, to help train them on how to get back to Civvy Street. We got there and found that VE Day was on us, so we paraded on Princess Street, which was absolutely mobbed, back from side to side and end to end. I'll probably be celebrating somewhere, say a prayer of thanks.
I'm a SAFA caseworker. I've been working with Harold for about 6 years now.
They've been always supportive, keeping in touch and finding out if there's anything I need.
He needs a little bit of company, so I just pop in and see him and see if he's okay, see if he needs anything.
They've been helping me financially because for quite a while I was all right, and then my funds ran out, not earning money and all of the national state pension.
Which seat do you want me
This
to
one
sit on?
here.
That one there?
Yeah, your old chair.
He's always come to me frequently with offers of help and expressing interest in what I'm doing and finding out how he can help. He's been a great friend. I really enjoyed his visits very much. He represents SAFA very well.
It's not all financial. He has various needs that change from year to year. One time we got a mobility scooter for him. We both go to the same locations to eat and drink. And I meet him in there a lot of the time when he's come up on his mobility scooter.
So I just charge it up and I can go up that hill there, which took a bit of trial and
Still
error.
goes up the hill to the bar and has a drink.
Yeah, the free wheel's down.
His hearing is not quite, as good as it used to be. So we've got him hearing aids.
I got help to get a new one, which actually cost £700. But anyway, that made a tremendous difference.
He also now has a living carer. He wants, somebody there in case something happens. At 102, if you fall over, then, you're not going to get up very well.
Very privileged to be alive. Very privileged to be able to look back on all these years. I was very grateful to SAFA helping me out and letting me know that I still matter to them. So what do we want to talk about now, Robbie?
That was a beautiful interview from Harold there, a veteran who obviously fought in the war, and it was beautiful to hear his piece. And also a beautiful piece as well from Sushi beforehand as well about her great-grandfather. If anybody would like to donate to SAFA, be sure to click the link in the chat right now. There, I've just popped that up there. We have already had a load of people donate, and it's just really appreciated to have already so many people join. But we are going to now move over to some more games, which I'm sure that everybody is here for. And to start with, what's been happening so far, lads?
Yeah,
so
a lot
far-
of death and destruction.
Yeah, hell has been let loose. Currently, no, the U.S. is on the back foot a little bit here. They're pushed back to W in 71, and the Germans have a good approach from the north going on. The U.S. is counterattacking Sur Mer, though, from the south, which is a risky move. They are ahead in a little bit of a cap race here, but if they do not cap mid, they most certainly lose their second point here.
Yeah, and I am putting actually a prediction for you guys to play along here in the stream. It's about a quarter cap center point here for Verville, and you can vote with channel points who you think is going to win. You can vote for the allies, which are currently for me and Ben the red, or the Axis, which are blue for Ben and I. Altberg, I believe, is on the other team, and Fresh is looking at the other team as well.
Yes.
As the Americans continue their assault here on Verville, using this objective or this series of eastern buildings and walls to their advantage, putting a lot of cap weight, coming up to about halfway cap. The thing with Omaha Beach is it is so tough once the Americans are back up to WN71. It is almost a lost game if they capture that. So they're doing a great job rallying the troops back and pushing into Bearville.
What we just saw there is Chairman spotting out a player hiding in a bush. It's it can be a great spot, but once you're spotted out, there really isn't much cover, and down goes that player to the chairman.
We should have some tank action happening here second. It looks like a Panzer IV is moving on a flank to attack this medium Sherman on mid here.
I'll swap
and
over
someone
to
in chat.
your POV
Oh,
there
sorry.
first for that one.
Yeah, go
Absolutely.
for it. I will say, someone
Watching
asked
that.
in chat, what server is this and can I join? Yes, you can join this server. It's called the Draft House. It is owned and managed by myself and Fresh and some community members. But we welcome a lot of new players, and hopefully, you know, it's a great place for you to learn. But we do want to see you guys like have some crazy, silly, insane plays. So feel free to join Draft House on PC.
Yes, Panzer IV looks like I got the jump on the medium Sherman here. It threw one in the turret of a Sherman, I believe, but now it's getting AT from German infantry, and the Panzer IV goes down.
Panzer IV, how did he lose that fight, though?
He might have been satcheled somewhere in there.
He
I
might
don't
well
know, that
have
was
been.
random.
However,
Yeah,
he
hear
is
a
currently
shot.
being shot at by some missiles. He's managing to back up slightly here. Shots going down.
This
through
Sherman's
the orchard.
backed up to his friendlies. And what's really cool is the Americans, or I think actually the Germans would have done this, built barbed wire in the front door as the Sherman tries to go ahead and maneuver his way through that front gate. But the Americans successful in recapturing Verville. Huge play. Germans not going to let that take that, you know, laying down. They're coming back. Another shot comes up behind the Sherman.
That is going to be a Panther from far behind. Looks like it went all the way around.
And
There goes the
down
Sherman.
they go.
Easily dispatches. Alpert, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's all center, right? I'm missing that top to bottom line of just infantry blocking everything. I'm slightly in pain because of the lack of garrisons. It's only 4, and most of them are in the back.
Oh my gosh.
His comp brain is.
This
cannot
is like looking
compute right
somebody at. It's a bit like looking at somebody that's making like a steak, but he's doing it well done, and then putting it like for 30 more minutes on the grill as extra.
Like they're making a
This is the
steak
world
in the
Raz and I
microwave.
live in. The Panther has rolled up right next to basically the whole U.S. team, and there's a garrison on the other side of the
Insane
wall.
play. Do not
They are-
drive a Panther. Oh my God, Jesus.
They still got the garrison.
Yeah. Do not drive a heavy tank that's so valuable directly on top of enemies. They're just gonna jump on top of you, brother. Please. You're barely moving. Get this
They're
thing.
very prepared. There's no AT anywhere around them right now, so they'll survive doing this. But this is definitely not what you should
I
be
think the
doing.
thing is, it's like people don't understand. You have a giant cannon that can shoot 1,000+ meters. You don't need to be 2 feet from Trijubian or a long cat to be able to kill him.
Hold the phone. We have a second Panther entering the chat now.
Yep.
Why?
This is insane.
There are now 2 Panthers on the point with no infantry, just shredding
And it
US
does
up
look,
here, but they don't have anything to counter it.
it does look like one's getting shot at here. I'm just gonna move over and have a quick look and see. Whoop.
Just the
AT
front of
getting
him.
around the
Oh, no,
Panther
he's
to the
getting in the
south.
back. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the Panther to the south here. And then this is where the Panther struggles. It cannot turn
Yes.
that
Oh my
fast in those
gosh.
lower gears.
BR Wilk right
See how
now.
low it is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
their engine might go down here if AT gets around them.
I think the AT is reloading.
So slow.
So
is loaded and ready to
Oh my
go.
gosh.
You might
Here comes that
suicide here.
second
You might
rocket.
suicide.
He
Oh!
does,
Oh, he
but
does.
there goes the engine on the Panther.
Now a paralyzed Panther in the wide open as the Allies still struggling to hold this objective here from 2
That's
Panthers.
going to be a tough spot to rep in for that Panther.
Very much so. Right in the front, you have an assault potential for a satchel here. Move it in. Tanks are the ultimate close quarters weapons.
Somehow
Germans
this guy's
pushing.
still alive for now. I don't imagine it will
For
be
now.
too long.
And
Both
flash.
Panthers just laying into the point here. Germans, as quickly as they lost it, starting to cap it back. Big spawn wave from the Americans, but only 1 garrison. Can they hold this objective? by that one garrison.
That is indeed the question, is we are seeing that tank, which is already taken so much damage, pretty much on the last legs right now, getting shot at by anti-tank and somehow still alive. I think it's just missed again.
It
Yeah,
shot
they just
its tracks there.
Yeah, all they can really do is track damage, which will slow them down repairing, but that's about it.
Remember, those bazookas are weaker. Mandible Jones with the flamethrower torches.
Oh my gosh. Let's go
Yeah.
over to Mandible right now.
Yes, this is what I wanted to see.
With the flamethrower. Running up to the
Mandible
tank.
with the
Come on,
flamethrower pushing the
Mandible.
Panther. Can he
He's
do anything?
probably trying
Absolutely
to-
not.
He's trying to focus
Oh,
It's
look
through
up.
the smoke. Go
on
on.
the repairman.
Full track
Oh,
damage,
no!
Mandible goes
Get
down.
down.
Got shot at there.
He did get the
Damn.
engine back up, though. Engine's up for the Panther.
That's all they need to get out of there. Luke's has now entered the party.
Rocket looking to shoot him when he turns around. Shoots
Does
the
hit.
side of the tank. Doesn't pen, though.
Another. Ooh,
That
that's a
one
good
does.
hit.
Gosh.
Not AT.
And another one.
Their tracks
Non-pen.
are getting lit up.
You're breaking up a little bit, by the way, Ben. I'm not sure if it's breaking up on stream, but
Oh, okay. Apologies.
a little
about that.
glitchy.
I hope that's all
Little
okay,
robot.
chat.
Panther still surviving.
Germans half capped on the point now. U.S. lost their garrison in the middle of all that, so this is looking very, very
Oh,
good for
no.
the Germans.
3/4 cap here for the the Germans back on the American objective. Altberg, thoughts on on this tank here?
I mean, I would assume it seemed like the one Panther was competent. They went down there, probably trying to get the removal of OPs next to the graveyard area. That worked. Then they made a way downwards, southwards, so they took the attention. Now, in the meantime, the infantry could follow up. So, solid play. Yeah, that's fine. It's good.
Yeah, Panthers, like Fresh said, has a Panzer II now rolling up, and they are actually blitzkrieging here, using the armor to clear out the objective. Panzer II rolling in to support the armor and the infantry, and infantry starting to flood on the far side. This is the west side of the church, and all the way up the church as well. They have secured it. Bearville is now back in German control. This is where the Americans need to hold their ground. They cannot start losing WN-71.
Slowly but surely, there is a 76 making its way to the middle point here with a Greyhound following it. And they need to prioritize keeping this heavy tank alive here if they want to deal with these Panthers in a
Absolutely.
timely manner.
3 tanks versus a heavy tank and a recon vehicle. Not preferred for the Americans, but the Americans, if they can solo one at a time, they'll be in control here. Panther still retreating to go ahead and try to get back and repair, but there's an AT waiting for him. You see that guy? He's still getting rocketed. Another rocket coming up.
He
There
takes
he
down the Panther.
goes. Panther down.
One of
It
them
was
down
crippled
here.
for so long.
We're back on with your
Huge.
POV here there, Raz.
Yeah, check this out. Rocket going for the Panzer II. Does not pen, but huge infantry assault here from the east side as the
There's gonna-
Panzer II starts rolling up.
Americans are about
Trying
to
to-
launch a bombing run north to south over the church here, which should do some damage on the infantry.
You guys remember Mandible Jones with the flamethrower?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
He's now in a half track, shooting from the half track against the tower of the church. He's doing
An
suppressive
absolute
fire from a half
maniac.
track.
Here comes
Bombing
the
run
bombs.
rolls over. Ton of infantry there. That was a good bombing run.
The Panther's
Big
moving
hit
up.
this
The
one.
76 is going to have this in its range here in a matter of seconds. Panther
Here he
should see
goes.
that 76 as well.
I don't think they do.
I'm currently
76 looks like
looking
they
at somebody
should
trying to
have it.
punch a tank out. I think they might well have watched the
76
best of the
doesn't see
community.
the Panther. Panther. Ooh, they might have
Panther
spotted it.
doesn't see him either. 76
76
does
has
see,
to see that.
Now. That's one
hit
in.
the turret. That is a good shot in the turret here.
Panther
They should
not
have time to get
reacting at
the
all.
buff. Yeah, reversing is not the way to go into the Panther there, so the 76 should bring it down. It does.
I don't know. The Panther didn't even turn his gun. Had no idea. 76 victorious. This allows an opening. Both tanks, heavy tanks for the Germans down now. Panzer II still up, I believe. But infantry starting to flood back into that same channel we saw before for the Americans. Americans using this to their advantage. Funneling rockets into that Panzer II as well, causing Panzer II to fall back. So no armor for the Germans on the field. 176 and a Greyhound for the Americans.
Yeah, and the U.S. is doing a pretty good job of using the cover of the buildings and the trees to the southeast of the church here to really get up close to that strong point.
Germans seem like they're still winning the gunfights as they fend off the Germans from this flank here. Oh, wait. Puma rolls up, trying to support that that defense. How would you attack this, Altberg? Or how have you seen folks attack this objective from the American perspective?
Omaha. Let me think. I don't get to cost Omaha oddly enough a lot. I don't know why people are not that fond of Omaha. Mostly I get fights over the south, mostly. Over the radar dish. It's mostly just basically you hold down the city line from the south area, that yellow road, all the way up there to F6 and so. And then you just meat grind your way from the right into Virville-sur-Mer. It's just meat grind at that point.
Yeah, I think that Omaha is a great map, but the problem is the American side on warfare that struggles. That second to last objective is so close to their last objective. Once they start losing a foothold on their defense, it's over every time.
Yeah.
But I really like the internal fighting on Omaha. I think each zone is fairly unique, and I think it plays quite differently than some of the other maps here as the Americans continue to push up now, both on the south side and the east side here. Machine gunner Wayne absolutely mowing down some Germans.
Is engaging something. It might have gotten a hit. Did they get hit on 76? No, it's the Greyhound. It looks like it shot the tracks of the Greyhound.
Germans losing the objective. Oh, huge shot. 76, I think.
Yep.
Look, something out there.
Yeah, it took down the Panzer IV. So, U.S. all of a sudden control the tank game.
Yeah, 76 pivoted pretty far. What a good job by the 76, prioritizing armor and keeping all the defenses gone. Rocket or something goes into the half track. Half track is down. I think that's the Puma, maybe.
Don't know what that was.
Yeah,
the tanks
Puma
are trying to flank south here. The U.S. is doing a really good job of getting towards the strong point. The Puma gets AT'd, but during all of this,
Puma working on the 76 hits the back of the 76. Solo Puma.
As we did just see there, Mandible Jones running back into the grounds of the church and with a flamethrower and instantly going down.
I mean, look at this. The huge assault by the Americans. Americans have fully taken over the church at Bearville. They're putting all their eggs in one basket as they're slowly losing their objective. It's going to be a cap race here.
Nobody going back to defend for the U.S. If
no
they
one.
need to. It looks like it's just a couple blueberries capping WN.
Mandibles back up, though. Look at that. Gets revived by Rebel Devil. To flamethrower again. I think the... Oh my God!
Great satchel.
Huge satchel kills Mandible
Either
again.
Great satchel or bad satchel, depending on who that was.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Germans losing their cap race. Americans winning the cap race on center point here.
Yeah, they have control of that church, and they are inside of there just trying to keep the Germans outside of that circle.
Sounds like a big bombing run coming in.
Yep.
We'll see how this goes. I don't know if it'd be enough. The majority of the U.S. are inside the church here.
Not a great bombing run. A little off center. Yeah, it does get like 3 or 4. 5.
I don't think it's going to be enough to flip the race here. They're going to really have to dig in and get these guys out of the church. Now the 76 is shooting the backside there, which is not going to do the Germans any favors.
Continued cap race.
Germans with the flamethrower goes down. Oh, the cap is flipping.
I mean, there's a lot of downed players right now for them, and they're going to push into the church a little bit.
They are now losing the cap race.
The cap race is flipped. Americans losing their second to last point. WN71 going down with only like 2 infantry.
Nobody went back.
They're holding it now.
Big spawn wave for the U.S. to kind of flip the cap back.
They're holding it.
Enough went back. They redeployed to save it.
Yeah,
and
I have
there you
some
go.
things that lose there. I should be fine.
Yeah.
Bearville goes down. Flipped again
Yep.
to the Germans. I'm sorry, the Americans. Apologies. Colors throw me off.
Whilst we're in this
Americans.
little bit of a lull, I just want to give a shout out to everybody who currently has donated so far. We can see, I can see Brooks, Mac L, Dave, Craig, I think it's Xerix. There's a couple of anonymous people as well, but a lovely message from the last person who did go do an anonymous donation, but they said, fantastic stream. Make sure everyone donates. I'd like to say a huge thank you to everyone who's already donated. Already at £70, which is absolutely beautiful to see from the community coming together to support a great charity.
That's awesome. Thank you.
As we are now back with the church. Raz, on your POV, some nice shots there coming out.
Yeah, watching the Germans try to recapture this objective. I don't know if the Americans have a big spawn. Jesus, that guy died.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have a good
But if you look
spawn
around the
here.
corner, who's going to get the first shot? And it is going to be
Executed again.
But there's
This
three
is a good
people
push
coming
from
out the
the Germans.
church.
There's
Down
a big
goes
push from the
Vortex.
Germans, and the 76 is rolling right up to it.
Oh, yeah, he is. Look at that. 76 pushing directly in the center
He
here.
needs to be careful with that left side. He's rolling right into it.
Why is he driving so deep in?
Once again, though, that only AT went down.
Oh, yeah. AT's pretty far back. What is he doing? I think he's just diving a spawn, maybe. Panzer II up here as well.
There's more AT
Won't be
that he needs
doing
to deal
anything.
with. That is a satchel right next to them.
Jace over, pushing up to him. Keeping
Trying to
up
get
with
it
him as
out.
well. 76 might get stuck here.
They need
No, he
to be
doesn't.
so careful.
Nah.
There's a Panzer IV trying to get around him. Oh,
Panzer IV might get around him easily. He's pushing up.
They have
Doesn't get a
no idea
call
that
out.
tank's there.
No. He's marked too,
No
multiple
call-outs.
times. Panzer IV just not even paying attention, just oblivious.
That
Oh, I
AT
think he's
is
actually-
still chasing
So
that
the Panzer
76.
IV is chasing an old mark. He doesn't realize that other mark has gone up. Gets rocketed in the back as well.
And that's the
76
same guy that
anyway.
just defended the second point a moment ago. Havu.
Too funny.
Ah.
There's
Yep.
the Panzer
Two in here.
IV.
Panzer
I
II
like
pushed
the
up,
Finns.
76 rolling back around.
Oh! Stay on Havu, grenade on the garrison.
The German
Oh.
garrison position is certainly something. I think it's only a matter of time till that thing probably goes down.
Yeah.
The one in D6 that's attacking Sir Mayor. Kind of just out there.
I think 76 doing a good job now repositioning himself right in front of the church here on the front line of the Americans. Americans doing a good job pushing towards the west, keeping those Germans from pushing in. Artillery now coming down. I think American artillery? No, German artillery hitting nothing except his own teammates.
Oh,
Panzer II
Americans-
and 76.
Meanwhile, the U.S. do have a good push coming from the northwest side of Church Road.
Panzer II goes down.
And recon, really nice recon showing basically the whole front line of the Germans there.
Panzer II backing up now. AT all... Oh, no, sorry. This is zone to AT. 76
German
just
garrison
some
has been
track
marked.
damage. Oh,
Oh, did that rocket get it? That was
Nah,
quite a
overshot.
shot.
Bad shot.
He's going to try it again here. Oh, and he dies.
Yeah.
Americans have just done such a good job at holding this objective. I can't believe
Yeah.
they've come back twice. These are the games that you love seeing. The games that are absolute slugfest back and forth. You don't like to see these games just go right away to the second to last point and then that's it.
It's only a matter of
Rex is
time until that
fighting
German
over.
garrison goes down, and it's going to get pretty hard for them.
Rebel Devil going ahead and putting a satchel down. I think he's the one that's putting these satchels down. Trying to use it as a defense. Knows there is infantry behind it. Look at that. Puts a satchel down. Or trying to put a satchel down on the wall here.
Oh my gosh.
Stands up,
Gets
dies.
spotted, yep. Reven heard him, knew exactly where he was.
Yeah.
As we're going to see Reven and unfortunately Dude Blah Blah go down. But Reven is going to back away and try and pop some...
U.S.
pop some
do
meds.
now have a Stuart moving in, which is probably about to get satcheled here,
Yeah.
is 100% about to get satcheled.
Yeah, that whole push is about to fall apart. They lost their attack garrison right now. They only have a few people there. Yeah.
They're gonna have to start from scratch here.
Yep.
Germans, I mean, they still have an attack garrison just right up on that front row. They're still flooding in, throwing smoke to try to push up into the American line. I mean, a nice German bombing run could clear this up for the Americans to be able to push. I'm sorry, the Germans push.
The attack on Church Road was a little premature, in my opinion. They need to get that control in between the points to the south of it and clear out that first German garrison before they can go that far high up. Otherwise, the Germans are just going to continue to walk right into the strong point.
The Sherman just doing a good job of staying right in the pocket is what I like to say. Fresh always makes fun of me when I say that, but the pocket being the pocket of infantry here. I mean, doing a good job. Like, infantry support is so hard to come by, so you really need to just pivot yourself and keep yourself in that infantry support manually. He's just pushing up slowly, keeping infantry all around him, using himself to go ahead and body block the rounds for his own infantry and keeping that push from actually formulating from the Germans. HE all across the hedgerow. Also seems like German already has finally found its mark, hitting the actual objective instead of the middle of an open field.
It's funny how that works.
Dialed it in. Dialed it in.
I think we should probably go over to Das and say, how the garrisons looking there, Das?
I mean, it's fine. I mean, they have some garrisons. They are putting them right next to the border. That's also fine. I mean, one right on Wivelsemeer, one in the north. That's okay. I'm still waiting on an attack garrison, but the commander has just dropped something on E5 at the moment, top left corner there. So there should be an attack garrison coming up in a moment. Problem is, there's so many enemies that it's gonna get removed instantly. So I think that push is gonna fail.
Das, for like the new people probably watching, right? Like,
Yes.
what would you suggest? What's like the ideal situation for both the defense and like a formal attack on this objective? Like, what would you propose?
I'd say 4 attack garrisons right on the border, nicely split across, 2 backup garrisons next to Wirbelsurmer. Yeah, and from then you're good already. Basic front line, you know, 4 garrisons, 2 backups. Maybe something on the next point already at the border, so you can fall back in worst case. But if you have 4 on spread out, you can cover most of this fighting area.
Agreed.
I will say the U.S. has lost a lot of map control in the last few minutes here. The north of Surmer, the Germans have just kind of moved in after they removed that garrison. The U.S. haven't dealt with it.
Yeah, I think the Germans just aren't really doing too much at the same time. I mean, they might be winning some of the gunfights, but they're just working on building some more spawns, but have only really gotten 1 spawn up. Panzer IV, double thinking about what he's gonna do here. 76 still like pivotal on the defense of Verville, with 47 minutes left on the clock here. Again,
They are dealing with
close
some
round.
pesky AT way behind lines here. So they have had to divert their attention to behind them.
I do love the AT hit squads. Ben, Das, you guys missed. I'll have to send you guys the clip. There was an AT hit squad that came up to Fresh and I in a tank the other day. Like a legitimate 4-man hit squad in a Kupel wagon. They charge us from the back with a Kupel wagon. 2 people get out to try to satchel, Kupel wagon spinning around us, and 1 person trying to rocket us. It was absolutely insane. A full hit squad.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything like that.
It does look like we
All
might
the
have a
headed
little bit of
adventures.
a potential. I don't know if he's going for shooting a tank here. He's just trying to shoot at the infantry. But we do have a tank just by the church. Krieger von Klapp is in there, as well as Yoon and Canned Fungus. How, as the observer, would I jump in and say hello to these guys?
So you can
Proxy
only
chat.
do it for the allies,
Oh, okay.
your allies, that actually be the Axis. So hold V, make sure your thing's connected, and just interview them.
Oh, perfect. I will.
As long as you're close to any blues.
Close to any blues. Okay, perfect. What I will do
Yep.
is next time I'm near a blue tank. So if anybody is in a blue tank nearby, I might well have an interview with you. And if you're in stream and would like to potentially join this interview right now, be sure to join the Draft House server and come and join in with some of these games.
You have a Panzer IV sitting here, the Menemist. He's looking to attack this 76.
Whereabouts is he?
Not sure. He is just he's in D4 here, moving his way to attack the 76 here
D4 perfect.
shortly.
Ooh.
So in the meantime, while that happened, the U.S. did take down that German garrison D6, and they are now in control of
wow.
that area. And
Yeah,
the
Church
cap is now
Road,
starting.
halfway.
Yep.
Yep.
I'll swap back to your POV while I go try and find somebody to interview.
Oh, the P4 gets a side shot on the 76.
He does.
76 not turning to engage here. Are
He's
they gonna
running.
get
He's
away?
running.
Oh, tracks.
I don't think he has a shot anymore. He lost
Yeah.
that opportunity.
Yeah.
76 rotating.
Both-
Wait, as he's flipping, goes
Oh.
for turret manlet. I don't think that 76
Both those
sees him
shots
just
might
yet.
have been tracked, by the way. I don't know if they took any hull damage there.
That's the front shot there.
They are
They
looking for
are
this Panzer
pooping their
IV.
pants right now. That's 76 trying to find where the Panzer IV is. Panzer IV continues his circle around his prey as the Germans now lose Church Road. That's huge for the Americans. And remember, the Americans are actually the losing team from last time.
Ooh, that
Panzer IV gets hit in the back.
Yeah. They need to be
What is that
careful.
bunny
Here.
run?
They're full sending.
Oh, dude, I think they can get behind this. If they don't get shot, they've got it. 76 has no idea where that thing is, and they're probably repairing stationary right now. He's just rolling up right behind. Look at this perfect flank. And does he go down the road? I think he does.
Nope, 76 turning, but they still have a side shot. Panzer IV could get this.
No, dude, he does not know where he is.
That's one
Gets
in.
the side shot.
They turn the wrong way.
Gets the other side. Come on.
They
Gives
turned
it to him.
fast.
No.
Move.
Misses. This is
Oh
it
my
for the
gosh.
Panzer IV.
Oh, we missed it.
Dodges the one shot.
If they do win this, we are going to go for an interview with the tank crew.
It's gonna be
Oh, but
really
a
hard
rocket
for them
just
here.
missed.
I don't know if they can do it at this point.
Oh my gosh.
They survived it. Did enough for AT to capitalize on that. That's a win in my book.
We're going to jump
Yeah,
into a
don't
very quick interview with the squad. Hello, lads in
I'll
the
be right
squad.
back while
Can
you
you
guys do this.
hear the voice in the sky? It is Ben.
That tank might be so loud. they're locked the fuck in right now.
It seems like they are. They are not hearing what is going on right now. And unsurprisingly so, because what
It's
what
so
fight
loud,
that was.
tank.
Looks
That was
like-
insane. When they start repairing, you might be able to catch them.
But oh my gosh, the rocket just falling short.
They are locked in. I guarantee you they are sweating right now. They were moments from death. You can probably catch them right now. Oh, no! They just died. Rocket from like 100 meters.
If that wasn't a caster curse, I don't know what was.
I know. Literally, dude. Literally.
Oh my gosh, as we do go back over and have a little look at the lay of the land right now, as we did mention, the Allies are leading, and at the moment it is very lore accurate, is what we're having to say.
Yes, absolutely.
That is, and as you mentioned, this is actually the team that lost in the first
Correct.
game are now winning. They've swapped over to the sides, and the power of the Allies does seem to be winning on VE Day today.
Yes, exactly. Very, very accurate. It was the Americans last time too, right? Yeah. So Americans are truly lore accurate today on VE Day. How fitting.
I think a
As
big
it
help
two
tonight.
kills the commander.
I think a big help right now is the commander, Sausage Bear, who is doing very well with some nice plays at the moment.
Super.
Like when he's dropping supplies, building garrisons, he's doing a good job at the moment as a commander.
Most definitely.
That means a lot coming from Das Altberg too. So, good job.
As it does look like at the
As
moment,
the-
Church Road is actually
yeah.
being capped. There's
Yeah.
only 2 people actually on the cap, and only oh no, there we go. A load of the US have
Whoa.
spawned in. Thankfully for
Dead
the US.
center. That artillery though, I mean, there it is, hitting a couple people. If it locks in, they're in a lot of trouble here.
In come the Germans right now, and it does look like they are going to be starting to cap. There's at least 6 people on this cap, and the rockets.
Rocket goes, misses the garrison though. Second garrison. Oh no, I think he's got a satchel. Skyop must see the garrison very closely.
Down goes one, and we're left to literally just BRWLK, the last remaining of the US. But
oh my
here
god,
comes,
huge spawn!
What a spawn, and this might turn the tide.
I did. It stopped the cap. Mandible Jones with the flamethrower. Torching the building. Torching everything. Gets multiple kills. Every window.
This is just beautiful.
There he goes. Textbook flamethrower here. Burning the building to the ground. Mandible Jones. And this update, again, increased the damage output and the range of the flamethrower. So using that to his advantage. Goes down.
It does go down, and we're waiting here. Are we gonna get? And there they do.
Oh
they come back in with a spawn.
Survives. They definitely. That was a squad leader though. She definitely marked that garrison, or will be marking that garrison. Dead center of the point. Germans barely hanging on, as the Americans also barely hanging on to defend this.
This really is back and forth. This cap. We've got 3 members of the Germans inside of the building. The US only with 3 members as well, so it is very even right now on this cap here at the...
Germans closing in on that garrison. Looks like one satcheler is like right on top of it. Does he put a satchel up? I don't think so. Oh, hey, back.
Look, I'm back.
Dude, Skyop single-handedly taking out squads of infantry, moving up to take that garrison down. Here he goes.
The question is Longcat going to see? Longcat has seen.
Does not.
Has
Skyop
not seen.
takes it out.
Takes it out. Longcat comes around the corner, and Skyop takes another down.
I mean, he's only a medic. All the hate I'm gonna receive.
I know, canceled. You're fucking canceled.
Oh my gosh.
As the Germans start flipping the tide, halfway cap for the Germans on their second to last point. Can they capitalize on this and then move to Verville? 38 minutes left.
US does have a couple garrisons, but they're each about 200 meters away from Church Road, because that one was directly on the strong point here. So it's going to take probably too much time to run over that direction, especially with this north garrison not really providing any direct cap weight until they get to that 5-row.
3/4 cap now by the German forces on road. I'm sorry, Church Road, yep.
And it's quite a way. We've got one medic who is nearby. And that's pretty much it.
The US North Wave almost to the grid square here. If they can just get over that line, maybe it'll be enough to slow them down here.
I would block it.
But they are not getting over there quick enough. They got to.
That rocket was nearly good.
It was almost great. God Awful Falafel is doing bits as the medic right now.
Oh.
Managing to revive his teammate. But it has flipped onto the Germans. And they are now going to
job by Germans.
Yeah,
I mean, this is an amazing round.
Yeah.
Back and forth. This is what you want to see.
Yeah, the U.S. needs to slow down here and start rebuilding garrisons. They don't really have a front line at all. They are just scattered, which if the Germans can move with a little bit of quickness here, they can get a good front line established. They could get Surmer kind of in trouble.
And as the Germans capture, they are bringing out the big guns. The Minimus that was previous in the Panzer IV and his squad now in the Tiger tank as they work on a blitzkrieg for Verville.
There is a 76 to the north of Surmer as well. So the U.S. does have some heavy artillery working its way up here. But again, no front line really established. It's kind of just empty for them between Surmer and Church Road here. So that makes it incredibly difficult for a tank to do anything.
Yeah. The Germans have a long amount of ground to cover here to get even close to that church. They are barely hanging on to Church Road, it seems. Tiger slowly moving up. Does he push straight up to the church? That's going to be a risky move for him. Not any infantry cover at all.
Playing it safe, sitting back. Both tanks have stopped, which smart move for both of those.
This guy's shoveling the back of the Tiger.
Ooh, swapping
Hey,
over to
now's your
European.
time to do an interview, Ben. If you wanna interview the Menomist, and they're just locked in, barely moving up here.
Whereabouts are they? Left,
They are just to the left of Verville on the main road, pushing the Tiger straight up.
Oh,
So the
excellent.
U.S. have thrown down some tank marks that are off the Tiger here, so I don't know if that'll throw that crew off if they decide to push.
They're stationary. Ooh, I hear that tank round over there.
Yeah, there is actually a tank.
Infantry surrounding the Tiger now.
It is all riflemen. 3 different riflemen around that Tiger.
Shame, they should have picked a different
How did they
class.
get there? Who knows?
Here's
There
the
is an
RPG
AT.
coming up. Yep. Right off the
a little bit
back.
behind him. Yep.
Line up a shot or satchel. I can't tell from my angle.
He's playing it very safe.
I mean, Tiger's doing a good job just like playing it safe and going ahead and moving forward and backwards, probably anticipating an airstrike or getting flanked as he pivots back to his point. He's having a lot of trouble getting through here. Now's your time. Do you want to chat with him? Get close to him. Sure they'll.
For some
talking?
reason, I cannot seem to see him.
They are stuck in a ravine here.
D6.
D6.
Oh, they're in there out.
Yep.
Raz, aren't you in the same squad as Ben?
Yeah, I'm literally.
yeah, I can
I'm
probably
literally
mark
You
next
can
to you.
just ping him.
Yeah, could
I
you ping him
forgot.
for me? That would be great.
Exactly.
This Tiger just has a gang of blueberries just following it. No one can do anything. They're just watching it.
Oh yeah.
Good
thank
mark, though. Finally goes down on it.
you. A great ping
there
there coming out
carefully.
from Raz for me. As it does look like there is somebody right next to it.
Oh, no!
good
No,
shot from
getting
that AT.
shot.
That's the rocket that we saw earlier. Bombing run coming in as well.
Adamus.
All right, we're gonna go for a quick interview here. Lads in the tank, can you hear me?
I don't think your mic's coming through on the game.
Hello.
Check your mic settings real quick.
I will very quickly do that while we
Do squad chat. Do
Tiger.
C real quick. I can see if I can hear you.
Tiger getting pummeled by rockets to the front. It's not going to
Hello.
do much there.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. For some reason they just can't hear me. That's so good.
Hell let loose.
VoIP.
Mate,
VoIP.
oh my gosh. Well, if they
76 is now pushing that Tiger.
maybe
The
everybody's just
Tiger is in trouble.
I reckon everyone.
They should have a shot on it right now.
Could be.
76 should have a shot on that Tiger. They just need to take it.
He is in trouble here.
One will do it. They already took one AT shot, so the 76 should just send around that way.
Why are they not shooting?
I don't know.
They have vision.
Tiger's still backing up here.
Yeah, spotter should have seen that.
And he's going right
they're
into
gonna
cover.
lose their opportunity here. The Tiger's
Tree.
almost behind a hedgerow. 76, not.
The gunner
They're ripping.
AFK.
Call goes out that the Tiger crew's out. 76 still just kind of looking. I guess they can't see it through that
Wait,
smoke. I don't know.
what did they repair? Oh, jeez.
Ooh.
Rocket coming up the right side.
The turret
Adam
is
is
turning.
rotating.
I think it was his second rocket though.
Bit of a premature
Actually-
shot there. But gets him with the
Gets killed.
machine gun, yeah.
76 really struggling to figure out how they want to approach this.
Tiger is just way behind lines, still getting just completely surrounded.
All right,
I mean,
76
map
should
control.
have this in a matter of seconds here. They have a shot right now. Will they take it?
Where is this 76 coming from? Somewhere
It's
the
coming from
east,
Surmare.
right?
They see it right there. They just need to shoot it.
Oh,
Non-pens it.
ricochet! Off the turret. Tiger, do
They're going to
not
have time
stop.
for one more
not
shot here.
Stop.
They stopped. And there it
That's
goes.
the worst you can do.
Yep.
Don't.
Shift W, Shift W, never stop.
Yeah, I think the thing is, people think like you can go ahead and stop and engage in those situations, and you can't. There's no time. You have to prioritize cover. As the game starts going back to German control, man.
Yeah, during all of this, behind the 76, looks like the Germans have done a good job of getting around Sermer here.
Agreed. Germans starting to capture Verville here. About a quarter cap as the 76 continues to look for any targets to
The
encounter
U.S.
here.
do have a garrison finally in E6 that they can use to retreat here, so that is well done by them for finally getting that built. If they do use it, they can easily save this point, but that entails them actually using it and going back.
Bombing run coming in. I believe this is to attack. It is.
What?
It's not a great idea.
Is he doing? No.
He's committing to an airhead, I'm sure.
He's not.
No. There is
He
a
put
big push.
strafing run there. What?
Yeah, that's something. There is a push coming from the U.S. on the backside of Church Road, but I mean they are more than half capped on Sermer here, and there's nobody.
Too little, too late.
Going back. There's
For
about
sure.
4 blueberries and 76 turning around now, and that's it.
Coming up
the
to a
US.
3/4 cap on Verville. This round could go back fully to the Germans. Once again,
Yeah.
this is like the 6th time it's flipped.
This will be sad if the U.S. throw this one because they have the
Agreed.
garrison to go back, and they're just not using it. And at this point, they probably have one more spawn wave coming off of it, which it just did, and it was 4 blueberries, not an SL in sight. So they're probably going to lose this point here.
Germans anticipating the cap here.
Yeah, they will cap this. I mean, this is gonna be.
I mean,
hard.
on the hard cap. Yeah.
The rocket
Oh
went
my God,
through
did you
those
see
church.
that?
Yeah,
That was an incredible rock.
was
I've
good.
never seen that.
that was hilarious.
Oh, SPC,
It
I see.
went-
Okay.
Window
Alright.
to window. Holy shit,
And
I've never
just
seen that.
like that, the U.S. have lost the middle, and they are now losing W and 71 with the back cap trying to happen here.
Oh my
Worst
they are in
case
danger.
scenario.
They are
This
in danger
really
of
is.
losing this whole game.
At the moment,
Ah,
you've
they
only
should
got,
be
They got that garrison.
they've only got one member actually in the cap at the moment. 4 of the Axes are currently in the cap, but it's just at the
76
moment
got
just down to
satcheled.
Notipo.
76 going down. Those tankers are going to be sent back to HQ.
There you go.
Man.
The Americans losing quarter cap, moving on halfway cap for WN71. Only 3 people capping it. I don't know if they got the garrison.
The Germans have 3 people in the strong cap, which means we need at least 10 U.S. coming back here. I don't think they're going to see that with how this has been going.
I mean, at the moment,
Ooh, big spawn wave in I6. They got to run a little bit here to get into the grid squares, but they might stop the bleed here.
yeah, I can see 2 people running back in the nearby vicinity, but really at the moment, you potentially could be losing this to just 4 players.
This is not good. If they lose this, the game is over. Almost never can the Americans come back after their second to last objective has been taken.
It'll be fine.
The spawn wave is coming in though now.
Huge defense here. Is it enough? Again, 3 cap per person inside this. All they need to do is survive.
Yeah, they might
goes
turn
down.
around here. Yeah, there goes the
They
Germans
did
that were on
not.
the strong point, so that turns the tide right there.
And they have managed to
They
turn
needed to
one
do
round.
that about 5 minutes ago. Unfortunately, they didn't.
Agreed. Oh,
Using the
insult to
rocket.
injury. Loaded him.
And then does it to himself after.
Oh, there's old Ploppy again, or old Poppy.
And Ender there. Ender, who Ender manages to get the kill onto Gabriel there. Ender was actually featured in the recent best of the community stream. And then I think
yeah.
a self-kill. A team
Did you
kill
see
there.
that?
I did
The
indeed,
team kill?
yeah.
He didn't realize there's a friendly, and they just
Oh,
executed Ender.
no. Heartbreaking
Just shot
there.
him.
Ender going down. But yeah, as I was just saying, Ender was actually featured in the best of the community recently. And as I have mentioned a few times already, if you are interested in getting featured in our future ones, be sure to join the Discord. The next one is going to be all about competitive Hell Let Loose. Going to be featuring Das Outberg, with the following one being a little bit more casual, and we'll be having Fresh along for that one.
Hello.
Hello, Fresh.
Filthy casual.
That's how I keep it.
German already hitting WN71 here, but not
Yeah,
hitting any
U.S.
targets.
is completely pushed back right now. I mean, they have one garrison to the west of or that's to the west, yeah, to the west of WN71 here. That's hot already, so they're getting pushed pretty far back to the ridge.
Yeah, I mean,
This
this is
could-
probably the biggest stretch of space
Yeah,
from WN71
this is
to
where it gets
Bearville.
hard to come back from when you're the U.S.
They have plenty of time, and they have 25 minutes to go ahead and come back. They need to, in the next 5 minutes, establish at least 2 defense garrisons and 2 attacking garrisons, maybe a red zone if they're feeling frisky.
Right now, they have
But-
no control over that main road,
Yeah.
the north of WN71, and the Germans can use that to just walk right up to the strong point.
And I mean, all this downtime is just allowing the Germans to really dig in. That's the downside, you know, when you let
Meanwhile,
that, like Fresh
Mandible-
said,
I was about to
Mandible
say,
going off the flamethrower.
I mean, Mandible is trying to push up on his own here, and with a flamethrower in hand, we've seen the damage that Mandible can do.
Absolutely.
dude, Mandible's an absolute menace. He is what the flamethrower was meant for.
It was only really upgraded just for Mandible.
Exactly.
The man, the myth, the Mandible.
Precision.
Duca going down. Where is it going?
Taking out the half track that was rolled
Oh
up there.
man,
Ooh.
nice Duca. Caught the very end of
Again,
that.
no control over that main road to the north of WN71 for the U.S. right now. It looks like they're prioritizing the south push here.
Oh,
I don't know how that'll
Panzer
work
II
out for
rolling
them.
up on the hillside here by Dionysus. What's the proper pronunciation? I don't know. Dionysus?
There's now 76 making its way towards the front line here in H6. But, I mean, U.S. and German infantry in front of her are just all mixed up here. So that will be a little risky to push.
Omaha just so tough to hold this beachhead, man. It is so difficult. That terrain is not the Allies' friend right now.
No, you're very reliant on tanks and artillery.
What are your thoughts right now, Das? What would you do if you were commander here of the Allies? How would you come back?
Let's be fair. The nice bonus is WN71 is far away from the red-blue border. But that's the nice thing. Normally you just grind your way to the border, set up your garrisons, and then try to break through. On this one, it's Omaha. Probably the little valley around, what is that? F5/G5, that little valley up there, little triangle area. Nice for pushing. But normally you just basically try to get one area and then break into it.
So just at this point, brute force, no sort of like real flanking.
I mean, assuming that the enemy is the same strength and has also all the flanks under control, you would have the same issue of it's a stalemate situation. This would be basically a 40-minute just pushing slightly to the right, slightly pushing to the left. It would be nothing happening basically for like 40 minutes. That's the problem. And both teams are quite equal in power.
Well, I think
I love your
70.
commentary so much.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but we've got a couple more interviews to do. So with 22 minutes left of this one, we've got a nice 15-minute interview. We'll come back for the last 5 minutes, I think, of this one. And we can see if the stalemate has lifted. I think that's a great shout to do.
Yes.
We're now going to be jumping into our next interview. This is going to be coming from one of our amazing community members called Zach. Zach is a World War II reenactor and has got really interesting... A little bit to tell us about what reenacting is all about and why he does it.
Nice.
Welcome to another interview. We're here with Zach to talk about his time as a war reenactor. All the way from Scotland. Welcome to the interview, Zach.
Hi, how you doing, Ben? You alright?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, good man. So yeah, I used to be a Second World War reenactor. I was for about a decade now, for a Second World War reenactment group based in Scotland. I guess why I used to do it was one, it's a good drinking club. There's a lot of camaraderie. But I generally do had an interest in history, and it looked like a good thing to get into to sort of further explore the life of a soldier in a particular time period. For me, it was Second World War, and the things you don't necessarily get to see in a documentary about the sort of bigger picture battles. And so the sort of stuff we used to do would be we would go to historical fairs put on, either by local towns or other reenactors. We'd also do events put on by us to showcase our groups, our military vehicles to the public, and pass on a bit of education, and so people can have a sort of nice day out in the sun, go see some guys in uniforms and go shoot some guns and maybe ride around in a tank. That was quite fun. So I was German reenactor. We portrayed the 130th Panzerlehr Division, which coincidentally is the division that all of the German vehicles in Hell Let Loose have the insignia for. That big L on everything's for Panzerlehr. And the area we portrayed generally was D-Day, around the town of Tilly-sur-Seul, which is near the city of Caen in Normandy. And then after that, the division would fight around Saint-Lô against the Americans on the other side of Normandy. Yeah, it was quite fun. We would put on a display, and we'd be in uniform. We'd have machine guns or MG42s, MG34s. We had a couple of FG42s from the Fallschirmjäger part of the group, and generally a lot of your time is spent on the we would call it the picket line. Basically the boundary between our set and where the public have access to, and you talk to the public about life as a soldier. My particular position was I used to run a mortar crew. So we'd have three of us, and all three of us would take it in turns to talk about how we operated the mortar, and then we'd go into the different parts of the uniform that we had, because our uniforms were slightly different to all the other German uniforms, so we had something to talk about that. And then obviously the bit everyone's interested in is the STG 44s, the K98s, and we'd go through drills with these weapon systems as well, and sort of demonstrate kind of how they were used. And then generally you'd get a lot of the younger sort of members of the public, kids and stuff, they wanted to get photos with the guns, so you'd give them a helmet to wear, and they'd get a photo with the soldier and stuff. So yeah, that was the kind of that's generally what we got up to. And then obviously when the public go, you've still got to keep yourself entertained, so it's beer o'clock barbecue, Steins and singing Erica around the campfire.
Obviously, slightly different to that the soldiers themselves would have found themselves in.
Yeah. So our camp, we deliberately modeled our camp off something that would be in basically the second or third line, where you would rotate back from your frontline fighting positions. You could rotate back, get a hot meal, get a shave, clean uniform. So we try to keep it, as comfortable and civilized for us, but and within something that we could realistically portray. So it's actually quite hard to do a sort of frontline fighting position if you're not allowed to dig trenches, for example. So we worked out the tents, big canvas, either captured British bell tents or repurposed gun covers, or we also made the Zeltbahn tents. The if there was any Eastern European listeners who are ex-military, I think the Hungarians still do this, where they use the ponchos that you get issued, and you can build them into big tents. So we would sleep in them as well, and they were not very comfortable. But it does give you an appreciation for, even though ostensibly, yeah, for me being a Brit, the Germans are the bad guys, but it does give you an appreciation of what these men went through. Whether they're on the good side or the bad side of history, and we'd even go as far as like the food we would eat would have to be, something you could find in Normandy. So if we're or it'd have to be German army rations as well. So if there wasn't any sort of burgers or fries or stuff like that, you couldn't get a Coca-Cola, but you could get Fanta, because Fanta was the drink that the Germans invented when Coca-Cola imports stopped. And you have your meats and cheeses and stuff, and it was really good. Like, you felt like you could at least get a good sense of how it was for the guys back in 1944. And obviously getting to play with guns is also quite fun. So, but we'd also do battle reenactments as well. This was the other half of it, where we'd actually go and a lot of the rifles that you see at these reenactments are real firearms on someone's firearms certificate, and they're running blank ammunition through it. So I think my K98 that I have, which is upstairs just now, is I think it was a Slovenian made receiver with that was captured by the Russians as part of the war reparations. So a lot of the kit that we had, a lot of the weapon systems had weird quirks like that. Like, we had a guy who had an MG34 that was given as lend-lease to the Israelis, so it had all the swastikas rubbed out and then had Israeli crests on everything. It was quite funny. But and then a couple of other stuff would have the swastikas rubbed out, and it'd have Bundeswehr, like West German insignia stamped over the top, because a lot of it was reused after the war. But yeah, with the battles, we'd have other reenactment groups, particularly obviously around where I am. There's a lot of British reenactors. There are a couple of American groups as well, and you do like a sort of semi choreographed battle with pyrotechnics, and there'd be a commentary typically as well from either one of us or one of the group organizers. So the obviously for me, the battle for me was just dropping bombs down a mortar tube, and then invariably getting captured or killed at the end, because the bad guys aren't allowed to win. So yeah, you end up you get used to getting shoved about at the end by some burly Brit, or get the from the Dad's Army, they don't like it up, Captain Mannering kind of deal. But that was fun. It was really enjoyable. It's a shame, really, that it's kind of dying out a little bit now, because a lot of the younger generation, like my age, I mean, I'm coming up to 30, but even younger, just aren't really getting into it anymore. It's an expensive hobby, and a lot of the organizers don't really have the budget anymore to sort of have these big events, which is I think we're genuinely losing something. Even the British groups are starting to struggle as well. So
well, hopefully with the 80th anniversary, obviously, of VA Day, maybe there might be a little bit of increased interest, or
I hope so.
Yeah, or a little bit more funding, maybe potentially going back into it, because as you did say, it's a great scheme to have, and as an education tool for those, because obviously,
Yeah.
the reason that we're obviously celebrating this 80th anniversary right now is to commemorate what happened and to remember.
Yeah,
'cause,
exactly.
Yeah, we can't forget what happened and what those people went through.
No. I mean, we're not. There's always a big thing. Oh, you're an actor. You're obviously a historian. We're not really historians, you know. If you've got a degree in history, specifically about the Second World War, you probably will have more knowledge about the sort of broader strokes, the maneuvers, the calibers of every weapon system, etc. But what we brought to the table was, how your life would be shaped by the equipment, the situation, the stuff that you could and couldn't do. For instance, we always had to be clean shaven, and regardless of where you were, which one of the reasons I don't do it is I quite like having a beard now. So, um, but there'd be stuff like that, and the food, and even looking after your uniform. And we went as far as we would do a drill parade every morning, and if there were, we had a point system for attendance as well, so we could showcase to the public stuff that they might not see, like an award ceremony for if you're getting like an assault badge or a wound badge or something. We would show the public what that ceremony would kind of look like. Excuse me. And you don't get that from the history books, I don't think. And you don't get the it was stuff like we had a guy who had his whole setup was all the personal effects that a soldier would have. So it'd be like issued decks of cards. We'd even go as far as we'd repackage cigarettes into what their ration packets of cigarettes would look like. And just being able to showcase that, I think is it humanizes the events of 80 years ago, rather than you see a documentary and it's all just black and white footage with a very dramatic American commentator talking about the movements of this division and that division, but it doesn't really give you an appreciation of these are actual people, and regardless of what side they were, these were lived experiences, and for 80 years down the line, a lot of that is not in living memory anymore. There was an event that we did up in Scotland, at a place called Culty-Bragan. If you're ever up there, I very much recommend it. It's an old prisoner of war camp that the MOD took over as a training camp. So they kept a lot of the original infrastructure built for the German prisoners, and a lot of the POWs there actually stayed in that area, because they didn't want to get deported to East Germany, or what was then East Germany under the Soviets. And you'd be dressed in. I was in a Kriegsmarine uniform, so that'd be German Navy, and you'd have people come up to you and be like, you look like my father or my granddad or something, which was really touching. It really it puts a sort of lump in your throat when an older woman comes up to you and says, this is a photo of my grandfather who was captured at the sinking of. I think he got captured during the Norwegian campaign, and he was taken to the UK to be a prisoner of war. And his uniform was almost exactly like mine, and he looked very similar to me. And it was like, wow, that's a lot to sort of process, It just furthers that these were actual people, and I think it helps. What we did as reenactors, I think it definitely helps. Get people sort of thinking and remember the people rather than the divisions and the maneuvers, which I think is where we should go with this 80th anniversary that's coming up.
Absolutely. I think that is a
Mm.
perfect way to end this interview, remembering
Yeah,
the people behind it. And
yeah.
I just like to say a huge thank you once again for coming on, Zach. It was lovely to hear from you. If anybody out there is interested in reenactments, be sure to look out for your local division or or hosting people, because as mentioned, it's becoming a little bit of a lost art form, and it would be great
Mm,
to see more of it happen, just as a way of
yeah,
getting people more aware of what happened and the people behind the war.
yeah. It would be good. If this if this interview gets 2 or 3 people to maybe just go on Google and be like, well, what's my local reenactment group? Hey, I might join up. Even if they do, even if they want to do a couple of years and see how it goes, I think that's a win. Because there's more people to the hobby, and there's more ways that as another person that can show the public what it was like being a soldier.
Amazing.
So yeah, thank you for having me, Ben.
It's been lovely hearing from you. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yep, thank you, Ben. Cheers.
And we are back. That was a just brilliant interview there from Zach, a World War II reenactor from Scotland. I can see in the chat that we've got Hawkeye, an American reenactor, really enjoying and listening to his experience. We're actually going to be having another reenactor who is going to be talking in the next interview, but from a Soviet perspective. They won't be talking about the reenactments, they're going to be talking about their great-grandfather, but it's great to see just so many reenactors and people who really just want to talk about the experience and what the experience of the actual soldiers were. I think it's a really wonderful thing. And Raz, Das, Fresh, what were your thoughts on that interview?
Das as a German.
I was gone
Yeah, I
part
mean-
through it. I'm not gonna lie, I had to take a little toilet break there.
Oh, how's it going?
No, I mean, I thought it was pretty cool. Like, I really like reenactment. I've never done it myself, but I was just telling the boys during the break, like, they have one in Florida here that I've been. It's fully free, which is super cool. And this one guy in Florida, for whatever reason, just owns like 7 Sherman tanks, like a Stug, like a Long Tom, um, and the Tiger tank replica from the series Band of Brothers. And actually, I don't know if it's Band of Brothers. No, it's Saving Private Ryan. I'm sorry, from Saving Private Ryan. But it's really cool. I mean, like, I wish I could get into stuff like that. I suppose I don't know where to start.
I mean, it
Yeah, I
was
thought it was
really
neat.
interesting.
Yeah, it's
Very much
something that I just have no knowledge about whatsoever. What goes into the process of reenactments or anything like that, but it's cool just
Badass, dude.
seeing. Yeah, yeah, it's a very interesting way of telling history, which is fascinating for people like myself that have no aren't very knowledgeable, and to see it reenacted in real life is something that's pretty cool compared to just a piece of media. It
Most
makes it a little more personable.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, I think it was really great. And I really appreciate Zach coming on board and telling us a little bit about his experience as a reenactor. Whilst obviously we were watching that interview, there was the final moments. I was hoping to catch the last 5 minutes of that previous fight. But what happened in that? It did seem to finish a little bit early.
Yeah, the Germans just absolutely blitzkrieg the last objective with a Panther tank and a line of infantry, and they just came in and took over the beachhead on El Waha Beach, and unlike lore accurate, just destroyed the Americans back into their spawn.
Well, I think that's one thing with obviously Hell Let Loose. We love sort of being historically accurate. It isn't completely historically accurate, but one thing that is going to be accurate is going to be our next
Unplayable.
It's
unplayable, broken game.
Why don't the Americans win every time? It's just
Yeah, exactly. What is going on here?
But no, one thing that is going to be accurate though is going to be our next interview, and that's going to be coming from Arapov. Arapov is going to be talking about his great grandfather who fought as part of the Soviet brigade. As I mentioned, he is a reenactor, so he very kindly put on his uniform as well for this interview, which is just great fun.
Cool.
And it's lovely to see. Arapov English isn't his first language, but he came across so brilliantly, and I'm really excited for you all to listen to this interview because it's a really interesting story. Because Arapov's grandfather actually was one of the soldiers that took Berlin in the end as well. So we're going to see his journey through Poland down to Berlin. I really hope you enjoyed this. Arapov, over to you. Welcome, Arapov, and thank you so much for being here today to talk a little bit about your great-grandfather and his journey through Poland down to Berlin, and a little bit about his story. It'll be lovely to hear from yourself about him.
Thank you, Mr. Ben. So, my great-grandfather fought since 1944 till 1945. His full name, Aripov Vasily Petrovich. His battle path started from Poltava region in Ukraine. His regiment was moved to Minsk Mazovietsky city. There was the beachhead of his army, of Soviet army, was preparing to battle for Wisla River. Interesting fact, his regiment walked around 100 kilometers to Minsk Mazovietsky city. When they arrived, his regiment was preparing to battle for River Wisla. They must destroy Germans' defense on this river. On 14 January 1945, his regiment break through the German defense and took the German beachhead. The result of this battle was that they destroyed 3 enemy tanks, 10 anti-tank guns, 30 machine guns, 8 vehicles, 19 enemy beachheads, and about 1 battalion of enemy infantry. They also captured 11 Germans. For these operations, he got the certificates for his honor. On 17th January 1945, they entered to the city Rawa Mazowiecki, where they fought with the Germans. Germans tried to run from the city because they have less forces than Soviets. His regiment put infantry on self-propelled guns. They recaptured the city and destroyed 7 vehicles, 4 machine gunners, and 3 anti-tank guns. They also captured 20 Germans. On 18th January, the 2nd Battery of 1504 Regiment entered the city lodge where they took the battle with the Germans. They destroyed 2 vehicles and captured 13 Germans. On 24th January 1945, the regiment took the battle with Germans in the city Poznan. After the battle, they moved to Germany.
So after leaving Poland,
they took all. I guess they took almost every city in Poland, and they now can move to the Germany. Yeah. So basically, I have 1 medal for liberating the Poland. Now you can see the medal. It looks like this. It has the date 17th January 1945. So I also have some his certificates of honor that he got for these battles.
Absolutely beautiful, these certificates, the artwork on them, and it's a really lovely memento for you as the family of somebody who fought in these battles to be able to remember them by.
Yeah, this this is really important for my family, for our history of our family, and we need to know our heroes, you know. They also took the Kościuszko city, and then they moved to the German borders. And now the Berlin battle has arrived.
Obviously, it was amazing there hearing a little bit about the history of the Poland battles. Obviously, they made their way to Berlin, but I think you mentioned to me before this that you don't have all the details of the Berlin history, but it's really lovely to hear about the Polish and the medals of honor that he also received for that.
The last battles that I know right now that they took, it was in the region of Neulandzow and region of Strasbourg. This is city in Germany. And then they moved to the Berlin, and that's all, I guess.
You mentioned that you had the medal for the liberation of Poland. Were there any other medals or honors that he received?
Yeah, he has more. He got the medal for taking the Berlin. It also has the date 2nd May 1945. That's not all of his medals. I also have some medals for other his heroic deeds. For example, he has Order of the Red Star. It looks like the Red Star with the Soviet soldier that has rifle. We also show you his heroic deeds in English, the documents that introduce his heroic deeds. Yeah. He got this medal on 17th February 1945. The next one of his orders is the Order of the Patriotic War. It looks like this. This medal was created in World War II and was given him in World War II.
Thank you so much for sharing his story there. It's really interesting hearing about his battle path through all the way to Berlin in the end and hearing a little bit about his medals. But what I also wanted to maybe just talk about as we come to the end of this interview is not only just some of the beautiful photos that you've shared of both him and some of his comrades, but also a letter that you've shared with me. And it'd be great to just hearing a little bit about what this letter is and also what the content is.
This letter was for his family. On the photo, we can see his friends, his members of self-propaganda gun.
Inside the letter itself, it would be interesting to hear. Obviously, I can't read what it said, but it'd be lovely to hear the translation that you've really kindly done for us.
The text is: in good long memory to parents and the whole family from your son Vasya. That something reminds you of my dead essay of the Middle Patriotic War. My comrade on the left, Sasha, and on the right, my mechanic, Andrusha, with whom always together, inseparable friends. But already Sasha is going home. We shook hands for many years until the next meeting, but I saw them all off, and I myself remain. I wish you happiness as well as friends for many years. With the greeting in memory.
That's a really beautiful letter, and it's obviously extremely sad where he's saying goodbye to some of his crew who are going back, and he's obviously having to remain on the front lines. But it's a beautiful letter, and again, just a really lovely way to finish this interview with a proper story of people who were fought with each other, but the whole time were thinking of home, and that's the reason why they were doing it.
Yeah, the letter is kind of depressing, but the story is not really sad because afterward he went back to home. He hadn't got any injury, so the story end kind of positive.
Well, I'd like to say a huge thank you for being here today. It was really lovely hearing about your granddad, or your great granddad, even, and his story throughout the war. Being able to share these personal items here today on VE Day is a really meaningful thing, and I appreciate you being here today.
That's really important for me. So, thank you for this interesting event that you create for all of people that want to talk about their great grandfather. Yeah.
That was another just lovely interview coming there from Arapov, talking about his great grandfather. Lads, were you able to listen along to that one there?
Yeah,
Absolutely. No,
that was super interesting.
yeah, that was great. And honestly, huge thank you. Like English is obviously not his first language, so I appreciate
Yeah.
the patience and everything. So that's really nice.
Yeah, it was great to hear. I think sometimes you don't really hear as many things about the Eastern Front, and it was obviously such an important reason that we actually are able to be here today to celebrate the 80th anniversary of VE Day. Obviously, that push down to Berlin from the eastern side was essential to for the conflict coming to an end. So I really appreciate Arapov coming on board, talking us through his great granddad's story, and yeah, it's just really wonderful to hear. As I do just want to give a quick shout out just to a couple more people that have donated as well. I can see that Chaddy Winbra has said, "Great stream! Shout out quack quack." Appreciate the donation. Neck has also said, "Thank you so much for a great stream," and Vastis Vane has also donated as well. So thank you so much. If you are interested, as I will keep on shouting about until the end of this event, we are going to be donating to the SS AFA or SAFA. They are an incredible charity that work on supporting veterans and people in the military, and have been going for 140 years. So it'd be great to get their support. I've put some information about them in the chat right now, or you can press the link in the pinned link in the chat to donate if you are so inclined. But no need to. It's just lovely to have you along to celebrate this amazing event. As I think it's only right that we jump into the final batch of games. I think 20 minutes, and then we're going to go to our final interview, and that's probably one of my my favorite interviews of the bunch. I've saved my favorite till last, but we're going to get into some games first. Raz, we're going to go over to your POV. What is happening at the
Perfect
moment?
POV right now. Tiger versus 76 Jumbo right now in trouble. A two-man versus a two-man. They are freaking out. I have no idea where the 76 is. Gets a non-pen off the back of the turret as the Tiger continues to go ahead and try to hide from the 76 that is flanking them. They already got hit, double repaired, and they are trying to outmaneuver this Tiger. 76 continuing to push up. Super close. This is two-faced against... Can't see that tank over there. The Menemist, again, an absolute menace here. Airstrike going in. 76 starting to push up. This support looking to go ahead and support his team by taking out these repairmen. Yoon needs to go ahead and really help out.
Yeah, Tiger, I mean, he can just sit there and watch, I guess.
Oh!
They need to be thankful that did not hit hole there.
Absolutely. They need to
it's a
spin
matter of
quick.
how quickly can this Tiger turn around, which is pretty quickly.
Oh. He's going to be at an advantage if he can get the shot off first here.
Oh, the 76 misses! And the Tiger
both
misses!
Back up! Back up! Back up! What are you doing?
It's just
76
not moving.
No, Tiger gonna go down here. No way he can go ahead and get away. And that was barrel.
Yeah. And there it goes.
There you go.
Two-faced, you silly noodle.
Tiger tank just got too aggressive there. Once you go ahead and bait that first shot, they should have done whatever it took to take, that 8 seconds, 6 seconds, however long it takes to reload, to make sure that shot counted. By the panic shot, that's what cost the Tiger there. They were at an advantage for sure. Good job by the 76 here. Ace of spades and the Menemist.
Ooh, now they're getting 18 in the side. So far, this match has been very, very even. In fact, it took 10 minutes for the middle point to get captured. It was going back and forth at the start of the game here.
And
we'll call out. You know how in the roadmap, you guys put LODs, right? This is the LOD I've always referred to on my screen. That
fence?
giant skyscraper of a
Oh, the
tree.
skyscraper.
The cube tree. It lives across the map. So I can't wait for those to come up. This giant freaking tree we have a bombing run coming in.
What?
Oh, double bombing run. There you
Wow.
Eh,
And any damage coming off
go. Really
that?
didn't hit anything. Nothing.
Not
Nothing
really.
at all. I mean, not really even the objective itself. It was kind of like
Jeez. It just went
I
all
don't
the way
think
up
it
the
killed
road.
anyone.
Cap Gambosville.
Yeah.
Yeah, just went up the road. It was just having a drive.
So the U.S. is trying, or excuse me, the Germans are trying to push from the north of checkpoint, which is not giving them any cap weight at all until they get into that 7 row. So the U.S. are kind of
Greyhound
just
goes
walking
down.
into Gambosville, and they have complete cap weight there.
yeah.
I mean,
Again, it's
both
that.
these teams though, so even, dude. So even the
I know,
whole
I know,
time.
but for some reason the Germans just gave up control in between the 2 points. They're just letting the U.S. walk in.
I think the commander's committing for some reason to a checkpoint garrison, which I don't understand why he's doing that.
Yeah,
Supplies
I mean,
just dead center of checkpoint.
the U.S. are just using those kind of canals to just go right into Gambosville Hill strong point, and they're
Yeah, no defense at all.
That's
I
what's winning
lied.
this race.
Huge spawn. Defending the objective now. Giant spawn by the Germans just north of Gambosville is going to go ahead and provide a little breathing room for the Germans.
What I do love there is the garrison just completely in the middle of a field. That is a.
But keep in mind, from our point of view, it looks a lot easier because obviously we're top down and over 50, 70 meters. But like when you're actually in the field, it is very difficult to see.
That is very
This
true.
76 could do some damage right now. The way it's just freely rolling up there.
Oh yeah. Now the 76, although he's like free reigning, he needs to be very careful not to be just out in the open because we know that
Like
was
that?
a tiger. Yeah, exactly. We know a tiger is probably rolling back up if they have another
Yes, it is.
tank crew, and it's been
It is.
about the amount of time that it takes to go ahead and roll another tank up. I would not be
That
surprised.
tiger will have eyes on this tank within about probably a minute to 2 minutes here.
It's almost like I play this game. It's crazy.
I know.
As we are actually seeing.
76 is marked. So you're going to see that tiger get a shot on it here in a second.
I was just going to note here, Gambosville is actually being taken. We're almost up to 50%, but we do have some. Is it the Germans for me? Yes, it is. The Germans are managing to hold it for now. A big spawn wave coming in from that garrison that we did mention that was in that field, coming back to at least stop the cap for now.
Just
Honestly,
no
it's a good
control
garrison.
over the bottom of the map. That 8 row,
Correct.
the Germans just have no control of, and that's
Nothing.
crucial when your points are all on the bottom of the map. That is, you need that, and they just don't have it.
Who do you think is going to win this tank battle, the Menemist or the other tank?
The Tiger's getting an angle on the 76, so I think they should win this one.
Where is
They're
this?
searching
Oh,
for
yeah,
it.
the Tiger way out there, man.
They
I
have
don't
it
think he'll have an
marked.
angle, dude.
They
No,
will,
he does.
They will. Yeah, they will.
They have it exact right now. They're
Yeah.
looking at him
They
through
can
the
shoot
trees.
it right now. Yeah, they can shoot it right now if they want to, but it is a duo, so they don't have anyone in that spotter seat, which makes
Spotting
it a
it,
little harder.
yeah. 76 rolling back, which is a good play as a supply truck goes up
They
in
need
flames.
to get in the cover here. I mean, this Tiger is going to have an angle. They just need to work it out here.
The problem is they don't have a spotter, so they're just going to back up into the wreckage of the Tiger here and just get caught up in a bunch of crap.
They're like, what?
See that happen?
Why can't I
Yeah.
look anymore?
I
I
have
mean, I think
no
you're
idea.
seeing the how disadvantaged you are with duo tanking with both these tanks right now.
Yeah.
For this Tiger should have killed this 76 about a minute ago, and 76
Easily.
doesn't even know where it is.
I do like what the 76 is doing, though, angling up here on the cattle feeder. That can block a couple shots, and it gives them a hold down position.
Yeah.
Now, will it block a shot from that Tiger? Probably not. I think that Tiger might still have a shot, but I don't know if the
It
Tiger's
has
even
it, but
paying attention.
they can't work it out. It's just they've come a little close. I mean, they have a shot, but unfortunately the gunner is so restricted with visibility.
The longer they wait, the more susceptible they will be to getting spotted, and the Americans rocketing them. So it's not beneficial
and
for
they are
them
losing
to
his
sit there.
points, so they're just getting closer and closer to AT.
Halfway cap for the Americans. Altberg, thoughts?
Americans are gonna win this. I know what he's saying.
Not even a question.
The thing is,
I will say.
I
Go
know
on.
some of the names on the American side right now. I know some of these names. I think it's gonna be a victory to the Americans right now in a moment.
Which I think
the
would
Germans
be
did.
would be an
Yeah,
apt
the
way
Germans finally got Garrison up.
as I say, win for the Americans would be an apt way to finish the gameplay segment of this of this stream.
Very
That's what I'm
true.
gonna say.
USA, USA.
Paid actors. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Hear that freedom ringing, boys.
As
The
Tiger
Tiger is now
continues.
fully crewed.
Oh, that's
the
good
Ger-
for the Tiger
the-
crew.
And the Germans did build a garrison in C8, but again, it's just several minutes too late, and the red zone attacking garrison for checkpoint is just pulling people off the defensive line,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Look at how many blueberries on that
Yeah.
point by the
Classic.
Americans, easily taking it.
Classic hell it loose.
I will say, I mean, both teams were able to recover last game for the most part, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Germans do somehow hold it a little bit.
I mean, the Germans in the Germans in the last game did go 4-1 down and came back to win the whole thing. So
correct.
it is not unthinkable for the Germans to come back from this, but as we are going to see, they are going to be the Allies are now going to be pushing up and then making their way to the
Again,
next
it's just that bottom of the map in between La Prairie and Gambosville. The Germans have no presence, so the U.S. can just freely walk from one point to another.
They really can. There is
Huge spawn wave by the
absolutely
German
massive.
forces. Yeah.
I think that's about 12
half the
people?
team?
They're only garrison.
Yeah.
That's their only garrison, so
Jeez.
yeah, they're all gonna cut off there.
Tiger, instead of engaging, deciding to fall back, which I think is probably a good play here.
if they
Doesn't
want
want to
this game
step
to
too far
continue.
out.
Yeah, smart move.
As the Americans continue their advance with their recon squad, trying to eye out that garrison. Recon going overhead as Two-Faced and his squad reinforce La Prairie.
The Germans are now seeing that U.S. front line, and it's just a wall in the 7 and 8 rows.
It is an absolute concrete wall. Sherman starting to move, holding that south side. So important, honestly, by both teams. As Fresh mentioned, like this south side is king for armor and map control because you can see so far, even if you're infantry. I mean, you can see a mile out.
Yeah, I mean,
continues
when
to
you're
move
pushing up
up.
on the map, you don't have to worry about a whole flank. You can just keep
Exactly.
pushing straight ahead. So it makes it a little easier.
I think that's one thing to consider, just again, from like an armor player, like always looking at the way to mitigate your angle of attack or the angle that you could be attacked, right? When you're looking at the Sherman 76, I mean, he only has 180 degrees that he can be attacked on. His whole left side is completely blocked out by the edge of the map, which is always something that us tankers are thinking about, right? Where you look at the Tiger tank, he's probably out in the open and unfortunately surrounded by infantry. As you can see him driving through the field, he can be flanked from any angle by any armor or infantry. And so the difference of these two tanks is very notable. How they're playing their defensive.
German Artie is doing wonders so on Gambosville.
It really is. I've noticed that that's been coming down and just peppering shots onto Gambosville. We do.
Jim Dean here running for the satchel, I believe, on the Tiger tank. Or rocket,
Tiger's
sorry.
going for a north approach here, just moving with infantry off their one
Oh,
garrison.
dear God, this Tiger. Do not move, Jim Dean. Do not move a muscle. Tiger's looking, he's looking right down the barrel of the damn Tiger tank.
Meanwhile,
Definitely
the 76
pooping his
is
pants.
slowly creeping along at the bottom of the map. It's getting further and further here.
Oh my gosh, this is insane.
Jim Dean is just pooping his pants right now. An absolute menace. Look, this Tiger, I think it's Relic driving, peeking the corner over and over. Really good corner play here.
I mean, you're actually going to be having corrupt dreams pushing up right next to Jim Dean, and Jim might get a kill.
Do not shoot him. Do not shoot him.
Don't give
Go
yourself
for the
away,
tank,
Jim.
He knows that's a proper AT move there.
Oh.
You don't have to kill him, Jim. You don't have to kill him. Wait for the tank.
Oh,
he's
Jim
getting
is running his basic skin here. He could be brand new. He could just be
Maybe he
actually
doesn't even
pooping
know
his
what's
pants.
happening.
Yeah, he has no idea that a tiger, if he stands up, a tiger will blast him directly in his mouth.
The
Be
76
so
is
careful.
now fully crewed as well with 3 people in it. Again, just
Oh,
pushing
very
the
interesting.
south of the map here. Getting closer and closer.
Jim Dean right
Poor
now.
Jim here.
He's managed to take out one, I believe, who was
Yes.
pushing up. So Jim right now is having a great time in this field. And it was actually just what you mentioned a little bit earlier, where putting a garrison in this field is tough to see. Jim, people are not able
really
to see Jim
is.
right now. I can see
No.
exactly what you mean now, Raz. But the shots
That's
come
what I'm
in
saying.
and down goes Jim.
The
Unfortunately.
thing is, if you're in a tank, though, you sit a little higher up, you can see a lot further, and sometimes it can seem like you're actually in a field in the distance, but the way the map loads in, you're actually not really close to anything.
76 needs to be careful. It's about to get ambushed by an
Yep.
assault player here with the satchel.
There
he
he
is
is.
now getting on top of it. They are not going fast enough to get away with from this. Satchel's on.
Satchel on. Yep.
Too far out.
That
Menemist driving
Satchel
directly.
got taken down, but
to
I
his
don't
people.
think they know.
No, they have no idea. Satchel's perfectly on the back. Of
Yeah,
this
but
tank.
the honest saw it. Surely.
Yeah.
Nope.
No way he
Not
didn't see
saying
it.
anything.
No, they
I mean,
have
he's
no
not
idea.
paying attention.
They're gonna go down
That's
here.
a fact.
AT player trying to run up and tell them maybe. Nope, running right
Nah.
past them.
He also
that
has
thing's
no
done.
idea.
Oh, and Ravine
Oh
gets
my
absolutely
lord.
catapulted back from the explosion. My
Well, that
lord.
is great news for the Germans.
That
Yeah, agreed.
Definitely is. As Billy
for the
Bob
Tiger,
Jr.
too, Tiger.
and Mandible
Germans-
Jones is going to
Yeah.
be moving up as well.
Germans now have a
Jeez.
good garrison set up where they have garrisons behind La Prairie in either north and south of it. They have a great push on the south of the map here. So they might be able to do something.
Tiger lurking still in that field, overlooking the entire objective as Rue de Gambasville starts going to the Germans again.
Interesting.
It's that bottom of the map. They've regained control. They've moved into C8 and
They're losing lots of OPs as well due to recon.
Yeah. That Artie is just smashing the point. Not far enough, I think, but it is nearly right on.
So just a little
all right,
bit
fellas.
short.
Unfortunately, I have to go. Ben,
All good,
thank
Fresh.
you for hosting. I appreciate it. Raz, Das, fun as always. I'm bummed I can't stay
Dude,
long.
thanks.
Oh,
Yes.
Fresh,
I'll-
it was lovely having you here, and I cannot wait to get on to do episode 3 of the Best of the Community at the very end of June. Everybody stay tuned for that, and make sure that you start submitting your entries on the Discord. Fresh, have a lovely
Yes.
rest of your evening.
See y'all later. Thank you everyone for donating. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bombing run comes over the
Oh
objective,
my
misses the
gosh.
garrison, though. Oh, misses the spawn wave, misses the
my
garrison
lord.
just slightly to the side. Doesn't really hit much of anything. Tiger tank starting to lurk, moving in, knows that 76 is down, so going to use this to his advantage. I will say, driving down that field, though, is such a bad idea. I avoid those wheat fields like the plague. Panzer IV looking to also support his Tiger tank as they move in. Tiger tank marked to shit. AT moving up behind him. Panzer IV doing a great job of protecting his Tiger, but is he doing a good enough job? Dr. Feelgood moving up. I believe he might have a satchel. I can't really tell from this angle. Beelining it straight to the tank. Tiger knows he's there, rotating on Dr. Feelgood. Dr. Feelgood right in front of the coax. Makes it around, stops. Why does he stop? Gets killed.
Yes. Unfortunate there for Dr. Feeling not so good now, unfortunately.
Chopped in half. Absolutely.
As we're actually going to be having a little bit of a renaissance here from the Germans. Almost at half cap, but it does seem to be going back the other way. Americans, a good spawn wave coming in.
Germans quarter cap, but as you mentioned, Americans starting to capture this back and defend it. Very, very concrete line between the two teams. You can see that funnel of blueberries on the right side, and then a ton of Germans going right directly towards the objective on the left here.
I mean, it's certainly interesting. And it'll be, I think, with the amount of manpower that should be at least coming in for the Americans, you should say the Americans should be able to hold it. But playing around that building right now on the on the outside. There is a lot of Germans right now, and you never know. A well-timed push could swing the tide. Some rockets are also coming in now.
And think too, this. Oh God! Grenade! It's directly in the middle of several guys. Bombing run coming in. I believe this is a German bombing run. Yes,
Yeah,
it
diagonal
is.
in the north.
This should be a good one. Oh, it goes for the garrison, but I don't think they know exactly where that garrison is, do they? No! It misses by just one hedgerow, causing the Americans still to be able to go ahead and put a foothold in there. The Germans are closer to the actual strong point, but Americans remain to hold it. As the Panzer IV starts rolling in.
I mean, there's 2 tanks now
Tiger as
in
well.
the area.
Tiger pushing.
One into the point, one looking to try and take out the garrison, it looks like.
Only a matter of time before that 76 Jumbo starts rolling back up. So Two-Faced and his squad need to make this count. Rounds going off. Continued rounds from the Tiger, keeping the Americans from reinforcing their point as the Germans flood in. Already hitting all over. Germans have entered Rue as well and are now in the courtyard. That'll be the strong point there, so they should start capping eventually here. Man, this team's doing a really good job with their armor. I mean, keeping all their armor alive. Their infantry just needs to start winning some of these gunfights.
Das, what are your thoughts on the winning? I can hear some chuckling going on there. Let's go over to the competitive connoisseurs' thoughts.
Yes.
Oh my. I mean, I see 4 garrisons around the perimeter, which is nice. An attack garrison would be nice as well. Now in the red somewhere. They focus mostly on the southwest here, which is all right. That's the normal area you go to. I have seen now on both sides some familiar faces. Schwitzkatz, always DVB, McFimle, Trotje. I see some of these names also from the comp scene. So I can imagine who has been, you know, building garrisons on both sides a lot. But I like the push they're putting in right now. I like the push they're doing here right now.
I mean, what they've got really nicely is because you've got that tank obviously sat in the field on the other side of the point. It means that the infantry are pushing from one side, and you've got the tank being able to fire in shots from the other side, making it difficult. But that tank is being shot at the moment.
I mean, the armor itself is preventing all of the infantry from actually getting into the strong point. As we look already, oh my God, some guy just got blasted in the chest by the Panzer IV. The Germans are in the strong point. Americans cannot pass both the Panzer IV and the Tiger. They look like by the time the 76 gets there, it should be capped by the Germans.
Check Mike gets splashed a moment. Yeah, first one.
Only tracks there. Dr. Feelgood might get the satchel off. Oh no!
My gosh!
Blasted in the face. Life flashed before his eyes, but the Germans do end up capturing this, which will wipe the spawns for the Americans. Match has flipped as checkpoint goes hot as well. Germans inside that objective and contesting both points here.
I mean,
Americans actually quickly recapping, except that already killed about half their fucking team there.
I promise they don't have a garrison yet on the Rue de Gambas. So at the moment, only OPs keep the push or the owning alive. So as soon as they get a garrison up, it's fine. But at the moment, it still could go instantly back.
The Americans do have a garrison on top of Rue, but it is on top of Rue, which obviously is not going to go available to spawn. Another hit in the chest by this Panzer IV. Stop running in front of this tank, people. My dear God.
I mean, this has been another great... I mean, 3 great battles that we have witnessed here this evening. It's been back-to-back, absolute beautiful battles. And I think at this point, with the Americans in the lead, I think it's only right that we go to our final interview. This is going to come from the wonderful Tate. Tate is going to be talking about his granddad, who was part of the US forces and it's a pretty heartbreaking story. It's one that I've wanted to save till last, just because of how much. I think it's just a really beautiful interview. So I really hope you enjoy this. We'll be back in a little bit to talk about that interview and see how this fight unfolds. But for now, over to Tate and his just beautiful story about his grandfather. Hi there. So I'm here with Tate, who is here from Ohio today to tell us a little bit about his grandfather. Tate, welcome, and thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I'm happy to be here and talk about my grandfather.
Well, obviously, your grandfather fought in World War II, and I mean, I'm not going to tell this story justice, so I think it'll be better for you to just go ahead and tell us a little bit about your grandfather and what happened to him during the war.
Oh, yeah, thank you. So, uh, my grandfather, he would be about 105 right now. So he's long past, of course, but he's probably one of the toughest mans that I know. He's a hero in my book. Had a very altruistic heart. He I'll start from Pearl Harbor because back then, when it was bombed, just everyone was angry back then, and he was just very upset. He and his 5 brothers all enlisted. The youngest was still a baby, so he didn't kind of enlist yet. So he kind of grew up in this small town, which I also grew up in. It was about like 500 people at the time, but it's significantly grown, obviously, since then. Um, he trained for a few years in the States, sometime in Arizona. He was kind of this Morse code operator for a B-27 Liberator, or maybe it was 24. I think it's B-24 Liberator. And he was going to fight on the Eastern Front in Europe. So he was 24 years old when he saw combat. His first mission was his last mission. He was fighting in Italy, and his mission was to bomb Viterbo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The Italians have a funny language. So it was kind of like a German oil and supply for the Germans. So he flew over it, and from Foggia, it's Foggia. It's a hope I'm pronouncing that too. But so his plane was really badly hit. The flak was just coming down hard. It hit part of his wing. It also hit part of the underbelly too. Anti-infantry was shooting, and there was bullets riddled through the whole plane. My grandfather had a bullet in his foot. Uh, I yeah, I don't. That was I don't know. That bullet must have been really big because it must have been like a 50 cal bullet wedged in his leg from that. So his plane kind of had to lower altitude, and that's kind of dangerous when you're parachuting out. If you're familiar with Band of Brothers, they're like, "Oh, we can't parachute from this height." So um, his plane was, because Viterbo is kind of close to the western side of Italy. So his plane is getting closer and closer to the ocean, and he has to jump. So him and his tail gunner gets the backpack on him, and he's like, "Go, go, go!" John is his name. So he jumps out, parachutes, and then he lands in kind of like this forested, bushy area, and apparently his landing wasn't too good because he really hurt his hip really badly. So lucky enough, his parachute didn't have any holes in it. His plane sure had a bunch of holes, but he didn't. He had blisters all over his face from the plants just like scraping him on the landing. Obviously, his hip was hurt. His chest. He had the bullet in his hole too. Except there's a consolation to the story. Some cute little Italian girl came and picked him up and kind of dragged him back to her barn. So she rushed and helped him, and he was kind of able to hobble. And then, she was there in the cottage, but it wasn't too long, maybe like an hour or two. The Germans, knocked on the door and, got him, and, like, okay, he's ours. So It wasn't until like 3 days that he was able to get like medical treatment. So he had that bullet in his foot for 3 days. And he obviously had the blisters and whatnot. The Italian woman wiped as much off as she could and kind of, you know, bandaged things as she could. So then he was kind of rushed to a hospital. I think it's Salino Malingo. So my grandfather, he was an Irish Catholic, always believed in God, but like kind of having faced death quite literally. He had these kind of angelic sisters just kind of touching him and just kind of like you know, putting him back together. So it was really relieving, and I think that's really kind of where he found God in a very profound way. The sisters there were nice enough to write on his behalf. They exchanged his POW information. He was about a POW for 3 years. He traveled on the Death March from Moosburg, Germany, up to like Berlin. I don't know exactly where in Berlin. The map that I have is kind of hard to read. So he saw lots of POWs die on the march. He was kind of put into like this cattle barn shed thing, like something that's used for transporting horses. It was there's feces and stuff in it. It was really bad. They were crammed together tightly. But he would travel from camp to camp to camp upwards. But eventually, you know, I think it was like he was 2 weeks in near Berlin, and then General Patton had pushed and liberated the camp. That and it was quite astonishing to him because he's like, "Whoa, I didn't expect it this soon." So he was able to shake General Patton's hand. He was really thankful. And my grandfather came back to America, and this is kind of the really heart grieving part of the story. He was still looking for his buddies on the plane. He ended up being the sole survivor on that plane. He his tail gunner wasn't able to get his own parachute on, and they ended up crashing into the ocean. So they were missing in action for the whole duration of the war. And one of the things that really hurt my grandfather was, you know, the sisters were exchanging his information and you know, his POW, and then all of these other mothers out there. They're like, oh my gosh, this person is on this plane. My son is also on that plane. My son was also on that plane, and just so many mothers concerned for their sons. He was receiving letters in the POW camp asking about their sons, and he's like, I don't know how to respond. Like, I don't know. Maybe they went to another camp. So he was really grieved. He went back to Connecticut. He went to Rhode Island, Chicago, some places in Georgia, and he basically kind of was like, he told the families what happened from his side of the story, because it really weighed on him, because he's like, man, I should have, you know, he helped me put my parachute on. I should have helped him put his parachute on. I should have done this. I should have done this. Why did I, you know, why? So it was really weighing on him heavily, and he felt really bad because he got to be with his mom, but these guys didn't get to be with theirs. So I don't know how to describe it or give it justice, but he had it really showed a lot of compassion he had for his war buddies, and it was pretty crucifying for him, and it really expanded his heart outward, and it definitely showed in his kids. My aunts and uncles have tremendous capacity to love other people. They're very altruistic as well, and I think they got that from my grandfather. He made some pretty deep choices afterwards. He decided to marry his high school sweetheart. He remained in the Air Corps nearest to his hometown that he grew up in. Had 8 kids, raised him all Catholic. You know, those nuns definitely had a good effect on his faith. And then my father had me, and my grandfather ended up passing away when my dad was only 22 years old from a heart attack. I speculate that, you know, my grandfather, he had high blood pressure, and because he wanted to live so badly for those 4 years in hell, like his body was just never normal. So he was always trying to live, and you know, the neurological part of him is just, you know, keeps on pushing and pushing and pushing. So I think it came to, you know, a heart attack, and a little bit too soon for my father. My you know, he was only 22 when that happened. So yeah, my dad holds him as a hero. I do too, and he was very intentional with his kids and cherished them and disciplined them well. One thing that I often kind of look back to is like, look, I'm only existing today because a parachute didn't have holes in it. A bunch of religious sisters basically patched up all the holes inside him and all the blisters all over his face, like, you know, from bleeding out. And basically, you know, my grandfather's relentless will to live and to pursue, you know, till the end, at the death march. So he had a tremendous amount of fortitude that I deeply respect in him. And that's kind of the story I have, that I'm sharing with you today.
I'd like to say it's a beautiful story that you shared. Thank you so much, Tate. It's heartbreaking for your father and yourself that he obviously passed as young as he did, but the fact that he made it through those 4 years, as you said, of hell, is an incredible feat, and a wonderful sort of story of humanity as well, of the nuns that patched him up and the people that were probably with him throughout those camps. I don't know if he ever spoke to your father or anybody else about his experiences in the time, but I don't know if there was ever any stories of how he maybe got through or what sort of motivated him to get through those years.
He didn't speak much. Most of his things were done in actions. He didn't like speaking about it. He would only say things to his kids like, "Don't ever do that." Like, you know, that I like, because he knew the effects of certain things and the way people felt about, uh, you know, others. Like when my father had his cousin pass away and his uncle pass away, uh, you know, it really taught him a lot about how to grieve. And my dad really cherished it because he didn't, you know, you don't get taught that. But my grandfather had a very uh, high reverence for life, and he kind of just did that in his actions, and it kind of translated into the way the kids lived their lives too, and it really showed. Yeah.
You mentioned how none of his comrades from the plane or his troop unfortunately made it back, but you did mention that he went out and volunteered for the war with his brothers. Did any of his siblings make it back?
Yep, all of them made it back, fortunately. So all five of those siblings ended up making it back. None of them actually were POWs. So only my dad, or my grandfather, was a POW, and a lot of my great uncles, they felt really bad too. Uh, all of them were in Europe. None of them fought in the Pacific, but they were really grieved too. They're like, oh gosh, if I would have been there with my brother, I could have been stationed with my brother. I should have done that. I should have done that. So I think all of them joined the Air Corps. So I don't think any of them were in the Army or the Marines or of that nature.
I mean, the main thing I think is the fact that they all did make it back, and
Mhm.
I think it's been really lovely hearing about your grandfather, about the trials and tribulations he went through, and obviously what happened afterwards as well. That to show what an impact that the war had on him and those around him. As we come to the end of this interview, obviously I'll say thank you again, but I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to say. Obviously, as this is the anniversary of VE Day, 80 years since the war finished. I don't know if there's anything you'd like to finish this interview with.
Victory comes at a price, and it definitely leaves a mark for all generations, and you know, some good for some worse. But you know, my grandfather, he chose the harder path, which is to to embrace joy and to choose the better part, to lead with grace. So yeah.
I think those are some lovely words and a beautiful way to end a really brilliant interview. Thank you so much for being here, Tate.
Yes, thank you.
As we come back here, and that was just a wonderful way to finish this event and this stream. Tate with just some beautiful words there. I think looking for the joy in life and trying to pursue happiness, I think is such a great way to live, and a wonderful thing that he was able to share about his grandfather. Das. Obviously, we as you can probably see, Raz unfortunately did have to leave us, as has Fresh, but we've still got you here,
The
Das.
tankers. The tankers.
The tankers, yeah. Part-timers. That's
Not
what I
strong
say.
enough.
But yeah, a beautiful interview. Thank you so much, Tate, for being part of this. And thank you to everybody. I can see that Arapon is in chat right now. Obviously, we've got Amelia, we've got Avtomat, and Zach as well. Thank you so much, all of you, for partaking in this. And in the future, if anybody else wants to share stories, obviously we're going to be having, this was VE Day for Victory in Europe. We're going to be having Victory in Japan Day taking place in August. So if anybody would like to get in contact with us and share a story of their grandparents or any memorabilia that they have, please do get in touch on the Discord. You can get in contact with me. It's me, Ben B, and I'd love to do some interviews, because another massive milestone coming up with the Victory in Japan Day in August, and it'll be lovely to celebrate that once again with another beautiful event like this. But as we do come to the end of this, Safa, we've done £130, which was beyond what I expected. So I really appreciate everybody who's donated. If you would still like to donate, we will leave the donation link open for at least a few days. If you would like to sort of chip in after the fact. They're an amazing charity, and they do incredible work with veterans. And I think it's just a really lovely charity who were a big part of World War II as well. So that is the end of this stream. I'd like to thank Das, I'd like to thank Raz, and I'd like to thank Fresh. But Das, you will be back on this stream very soon, and that is going to be for the competitive Best of the Community, episode 2. This is going to be taking place on the 29th of May. It will be taking place at 6 p.m. BST, which is around about an hour ago in your equivalent time. Are you looking forward to this here, Das?
No, I know. Of course I am. It's going to be glorious.
It's going to be glorious. I have put the Discord link in the chat. If you are a member of the competitive community, get into the Discord, upload your clips. We want to share, and just shout about how amazing that community is. Because, Das, you're going to be able to talk a little bit about what is so great about this competitive community and what it is that you guys do.
It will be glorious. Oh, Ben, I can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, it's gonna be great. Following that, we've already opened up the submissions for our episode 3 as well. That is going to be featuring the one and only Fresh Baked Goods up over that way, up in the top right of the screen, and that's going to be another community focused one. That is going to be taking place on the 26th of June. So pop those in your diaries. End of May, end of June. We're going to be having some more Best of the Community clips, and I would love to see more submissions. But in the meantime, Das, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, worries. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to everybody who donated, everyone who partook, and everybody who just tuned in for 5 minutes or for what has ended up becoming 3 hours. It's been great to to host this event. I really hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.